Live 01. We are live. There's Buren.
We're live.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, everybody. We are here with Mauro Cerati. Am I saying that right?
I'm totally fine with that. I don't have any problem. In Italian, is Cerati. But if you pronounce it like Cerati, yeah. Okay. But Cerati is more like, oh, I feel like so international. It's so cool. It's really so cool.
That's great. So Mauro is a concept artist who's working in the industry right now. He works at Streamline Studios, and I should actually bring up your work is what I should do.
Yeah.
And how long have you been working professionally?
From December 2014, I finished RTD. I studied in RTD. And I finished RTD in October 2014. I started to, my journey into the industry in Cambodia. That was my first company in Scotland. And it was, December 2014. So it's like 4 years and a half, kind of, I guess.
Okay.
I'm super bad with math. I'm one of the worst people that is so bad in that I have to take the of Google, whatever, to do every single kind of possible multiplications, additions, and this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's a personal piece of mine. And these are some of the works that I did in Streamline. That I was very grateful to have the opportunity to share that. And yeah, basically, this is what I do. I think it's the point for me is more like it's very rewarding because it's awesome to do concept for video games and stuff. Mm-hmm. But in a certain way, also demanding because you always have to be curious of everything. You cannot stop. You cannot, sit down. Oh, I'm in the industry. I made it. I have a job. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah, you can't slow down.
Always have to slow down. But I mean, I'm grateful also and honored to be here, really, because I would like to also address something that is very, I feel it quite much. There is to have some sort of balance in life. Because this industry is very, there is a lot of competition, yes. But at the same time, that's my personal opinion. You need to have some sort of balance. You need to have some, yes, work hard, but not overburn yourself. Because if you get sick, of course, that's, something that will affect you. That's something that for me is quite important, especially in this moment, healthy. Because it's very, there could be a trend to say, oh, let's work, and 28 hours per day, 24 hours per day, blah, blah, no sleep or crunch so much. Yes. But keep this sort of lifestyle for too long, it will affect you so much. So even if you're already in the industry or you are a student or you want to break through, yes, work hard, but in the same time, try to also take care of your health. That's, if you burn the engine, you cannot go that far.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion, of course.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm. You can see quite much of cases of people that all burn out or they are, they can't continue with that sort of speed. So for me, it's more like a matter of consistency. And that's, do a little bit every day. That's what, keeps me going on, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it takes a lot of sacrifice and time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So you worked on a Street Fighter?
Yes, there was one of the IP that I worked on here in Streamline, and it was actually it was a very sort of romantic feeling for me to work on Street Fighter, because I played the game when I was young, so having the opportunity to work on it was actually very good. It was very fun. It was very, very, very nice. It's weird when the game came out and you see, that you have been part of it. It's a very weird kind of sensation, because it's, from one side it's like you're super excited. Oh shit! I contribute to the game, and to the other side is like, oh god. But I mean, it's the rewarding kind of moments when you are in the industry, that you see the result of your work that come together in a game. Mm-hmm. That was actually very nice. Yes. I work on that title. I know that I can say that I worked also on Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, and I work on the DLC of Final Fantasy 15 that is called Monsters of the Deep. I can't show something, but yeah, I can say that I work on those titles too. Yes. Awesome. Again, it was fun. Street Fighter was probably the one that I had most of the romantic feeling, because Street Fighter 2 was one of the iconic games they played back then.
Yeah.
I remember the first time that I played, so when I was working on it, it reminds me that the first time that I played the game with the arcades and the little coin that I have to drop inside of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's these are my underzone studies, because I was recently at Trojan Horse the last year. It was a blast. It was an amazing experience. There I have the opportunity and very much of a privilege to meet Carla Ortiz, that she was so sweet and nice to give me some feedback on my art and my portfolio. And she saw that I was lacking of edge control in my painting. So she suggested for me to try to do some studies of underzone. In the specific underzone, because it has an amazing sort of control of edge work and brush strokes. So it was more like, her advice was to don't rush the studies, put as much effort as you can. Like 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours, who cares? Just do it. And I kind of enjoyed doing this sort of studies, that I still do it right now during lunchtime. They are tricky, because when I see the painting, of course he's super master, who am I? But the trickiest part is that he used traditional media in Photoshop. So that's very, very hard to get the same sort of brush strokes that I can see. You can see the thickness of the oil paint it is on the canvas.
Yeah.
Rather than in Photoshop, you have to kind of fake it. So yeah, I have some brushes that can do some sort of traditional kind of look.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's very hard. That's probably the most challenging part that I'm facing right now when I do these kind of studies.
Yeah, these are.
But they're fun. They're very fun. Oh, thanks.
They're executed very well. Yeah.
Thanks. They are very fun.
Yeah, I really like it.
Helps also to.
I really like this one.
The point of those are also, I restrict myself to not use any color pick. So I try to, get the thing by the eye. And I understood after a while that I always have to recorrect a little bit with the curves, that I always go a little bit lighter than I should, or a little bit less saturated where I should. That restriction is mostly like 99% of the time. Let's say when I can figure it out, which kind of color, which kind of hue he used, especially with the skin tones that I had, they are extremely hard. In that case, I allow myself to color pick. Try to always figure it out without using the color pick.
Yeah.
So it's mostly like for. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh no, you. Go
I have this stupid habit that I interrupt everyone.
Oh no, I
Sorry.
was just about to
No,
interrupt you.
We just want you to talk as much as you want, man. That's why you're here.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Dead.
Yes, one thing that I think I've noticed, like with my own work, is if I'm doing a study from something and I'm just having the most difficult time figuring out a color, I won't go in and like color pick to paint, but I'll color pick to see what color I'm not understanding. And I'll be like, maybe like, that's a really desaturated warm color, and I've been using blue this whole time. Like, that's why it looks wrong.
Exactly.
And that it'll just click in your brain. So color picking as far as like just taking from one and painting it onto yours is bad, but color picking in terms of what color am I actually seeing because I've been struggling with this for a half an hour, like that's okay.
Yes. Yeah, I do agree, absolutely. Because you try to correct yourself. Oh, thanks. That was actually went faster than the other ones. I don't know why. I was experimenting a little bit more with those brushes.
Yeah.
And okay, since I'm here interviewed, I wanna address something. The dilemma of the brushes, because I have a personal thing about it. So yes, there is, the thing of it's not the brushes. Don't get stuck into the brushes. Not the brushes do better. And I think that a lot of people, especially in the beginning, are caught into I need that brushes that the artist is using. My personal point of view is it's not a brush that makes you better, but I do think that brushes matter in the end.
Yeah.
And matters to the point that you need to experiment with a lot of different kinds of brushes in order to get the ones that you feel mostly connected to. For example, it's been, I guess, 1.5 years, 2 years more or less, that I downloaded Greg Rutowski's brushes, and I found that as how I paint, that I don't paint very well, but the way that I approach painting, those brushes works for me. Comparison, for example, I do have some of the Jama Jurabai, I guess. My superpower is to butcher people's names. So I'm sorry, Mr. Jam, I don't want to butcher your name. For example, I have some of these brushes, but a lot of those, I don't understand how to use them, or I don't click with them as much as I clicked with Rutowski's brushes. So I think that brushes in a certain way matters, in order to you feel that the brush strokes that you're researching is that specific you have, or the brush set that you have, you can handle it. But it's not that a pack of brushes make you as good as the artist that you download the brushes yourself. So I highly suggest to all the people that are the students and stuff, don't get caught into brushes in order to, I need that brush because otherwise I cannot paint. You can paint with just, and that's it.
What was that? It cut out.
Just.
Oh, it's cutting out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What did he say, Burin?
I didn't hear it either.
I think he said hard round, but it's lagging probably a little bit. He'll his connection will be back in a little bit.
Yeah, he just mentioned Jama's brush tutorial.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I learned how to use mixer brush and smudge brush along with your normal brush, and yeah, it was super helpful.
Oh, looks like
in that regard.
All right, you said. Did you say hard round?
It's my internet. Actually, when you mention right now, I haven't seen the tutorial of Jama or how to paint, or I will check it. No, I think I downloaded some Jama's brushes from one of the, because I have the Patreon. I did the Patreon on Jama stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it's amazing because every month is just mind blowing of things. But yeah, they are so different and so, I guess, technical, his brushes, that I found it very hard for me to approach them. yeah, I mean, in theory, you can just paint everything with just a round brush and a soft brush that can give you everything. But in order to speed up the process, because we always have very limited kind of amount of time, we need to have shortcuts. So that's why texture brushes and more fancy brushes came in handy to recreate some aspects of the painting. That's yeah. Sorry for everyone. My internet connection is so it will maybe drop a little bit.
Oh, no worries. We're really glad to have you on.
Yeah. Sorry, me too. It's my pleasure. And again, this is the brushy thingy. Just a thing that I was thinking when I was painting. That I clicked with some. Oh yeah, this is some of the work that I did for Streamline for an internal project.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go for my NDA, but
no worries.
No problem.
There's
mm-hmm. No, yeah, because I have a lot of fun here to work here in Streamline. Yeah. Also because I have a very, very good producer that is pushing me to but at the same time he cares. So it's a very rewarding kind of feeling. I want to do good also to say, hey, this is a new piece. This is good. So it's a very good relationship that I have. Yeah. And that does a lot. And in my opinion, it's one of the the good things that I hope everyone in the industry can find a figure like I do have.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like a mentor, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It's very good. Yeah, this is some of these IP that I was developing a little bit some time ago. Mm-hmm. That was very fun. I end up painting a lot, so it gives me a little bit more of not quite much of stress when I start a painting per se. I mean, of course, always, but. I guess I don't freeze anymore when I have to do a painting. I usually know sort of how can I, try to fix a little bit when it's going on. Even though, I mean, every single time that something, I always have the initial fear that the painting will not turn good.
Oh yeah.
When you start from blank canvas, I always have that. Oh God! I hope it will be okay. But I feel that I don't freeze when I go into painting anymore. I had this sort of sensation when I was in FTD. When I finished the first term and I started the second term, there was a moment that I really froze and I couldn't paint anymore. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. And then, I mean, I just keep painting it, so I get into it.
Yeah. Do you have your graduation portfolio on? No, it doesn't look like you do.
No, but it is here. I give you the link. It's in my Tumblr.
Okay.
Usually I don't, because it's a little bit old.
Yeah.
I drop it here.
You actually have a group of. You actually have a good amount of work to share today, don't you? Old work.
Yes.
Old work. Maybe.
Yes.
What do you think, Burin? Do you wanna get into that?
Yeah, we want to see the artist's journey.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's super useful for our students.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you want to go follow Mauro on ArtStation, I will post his link in the general chat in the Discord, and it'll also be in the video description on YouTube. If you're watching this after this video has been uploaded, it'll be in the video description. So I'm posting that right now in the Discord.
I open the before FTG folder.
Okay. I will give you and you can share your screen if you want. And
yes. Okay.
So take us all the way back, like as far as you can.
Okay. So Okay, I guess so. Okay. So my story goes with the fact that I always draw from when I was quite young, and I did artistic high school, so I kept drawing there too. And in my artistic high school, I was doing architectural because it was divided into the 5 years. Like the first 2 years was common subjects, and then the next 3 years was you have to choose more of, do you want to do your more figurative kind of stuff like oils, sculpture, or more architectural kind of school. So I choose architectural because my father is an architect. So
awesome.
Was pretty much sort of continuation of the family business.
Yeah.
And basically there how can I say? I learned, the draw through, the perspective, and this kind of stuff. But at the same time, was very, I couldn't connect all those knowledge after when I was, approaching the paintings and my photo manipulation. So after a while, finish high school, I went to university, and I want to have the idea of, hey, let's go. I want to do the fine art. And my parents, nope, you will do Chinese, fine. So I actually went to university and graduated into Chinese and Japanese language and literature. That is completely different to do art. But I was doing art every single time there. So I wasn't studied that much, to be honest. And at the same time, I was approaching Photoshop for the first time. And it was like, I guess, 19 years ago. And I found it my first photo manipulation that is very, very awful. Yeah, it's this shit here. It was a homage.
The humble
awesome.
beginnings.
Yeah. Whoa. The Voice. What the fuck is The Voice? Sorry, people at home. I'm Italian. That's just a way for us to express. She called Shinsa de Carolina. She actually is a professional dapper. She's really, 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 really good. This is my first photo manipulation ever. I try to.
It's cutting out.
Yeah, it's cutting out.
Oh.
Okay, there it goes.
Okay. I tried to study Photoshop by myself. So it was me and one of my friends that we were just, doing stuff with Photoshop without doing what. And that was the first one. I do have some of my works submitted to FCD. That was my entry portfolio of stuff, and it was through the because I did a course with CGMA with James Fake in environment. So that was I did, and it was the first approach in design, and the first approach in painting with
Wow, so this is pre-FZD?
Yeah. Yes, this is
Awesome.
pre-FZD.
Wow, that painting is...
This is like, I mean, the painting is like giving feedback and stuff. So I don't have almost any digital painting before this course, because for me, digital painting is something extremely recent. That's why I like it so much. Because I always sketching, spiky mountains, yippee, look at the castle. Without, the references in a proper way. So I couldn't understand how to use the references in a good way to create design. That's stuff, characters. I don't do characters usually. That's the characters that I submit to FCD, poor fan that see this kind of crap. The thumbnails that I did back then with this CGMA course. It was actually a very fun course, to be honest. It was very, very nice. I learned a lot. But I prefer to switch to FZD because I needed to have the environment. I mean, the real person, the classmates around me, the drive that the FZD creates and this kind of stuff. Because for me I felt that online courses, for me, not some people can have, different kind of approach, but for me, were well compared to being in a school. And that was the driving force for me to choose to go to FCD. I needed to be in the school because I'm the kind of person that needs to be surrounded by classmates and have the teacher teaching directly. But online courses are very good. I actually very, very enjoy them. And I think that for a lot of other people also works pretty well. So I guess it's just personal kind of preference. There's nothing more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do have my previous works that are photo manipulations and this kind of stuff. Let's open also these guys. This is murales that I did back then in 1998. It's in the room of my hometown. It's one of the comic books that I was reading and I was very attached to. Same this was a high school, replica, just copy one cover of Ranma in this case.
Aw. Nice.
Photo manipulation when I was doing back then photo manipulation, and I get into Photoshop more comfortably, even though doing all this kind of stuff, because I was self-taught, there was a lot of technical aspect that I wasn't considering, like all of those statues and all of those tombs and stuff. How I was cutting out the photos was just with the eraser. So I was basically erase all the edges of everything, every little pixel perfectly. And it was a huge amount of time rather than, just do the lasso. Because I didn't know the lasso or the stuff. So that's the disadvantage to be self-taught, that sometimes the knowledge of a proper workflow, and also there wasn't any kind of tutorials back then.
Yeah. So
you just rely on or books that you buy or friends that share this passion with you and this kind of stuff. Yeah, this is, I don't know, like this was for an advertising campaign. Yeah, that's me because I need to present something to my, and I had no time to call any one of my friends, so I had to self-photograph myself. Covers of CD for metal bands, this kind of presentation. Yeah, that was what I was doing before.
Okay.
And I couldn't together those two elements of 2D drawing, photo manipulation was something that was completely different kind of worlds. So or I was drawing or I was photo manipulating, but not intertwine those two. And that was very something that I'm grateful that in FCD, how to approach those two worlds and merge them together.
Yeah.
This is the crappy stuff that I did. This is the before and after days also in the website. The first day when we were there, like they give a piece of paper. Okay, just let's draw. You guys draw something cool. Whoa, whoa! Shit is so bad. Yep, that's the stuff before FCD.
That's
and it's very. It's mostly like, I guess it's a journey, and everyone has their own journey. So mine has been, let's say, not straightforward because, again, I studied Chinese and Japanese. Then I went to study graphic design. I was a graphic designer for a while doing advertising. And that was, I don't know, I think it's like, as we talked before, like different pillars that construct your life, but they don't intertwine together. So when you reach the point that you understand how can those pillars dialogue together, so that the point of, oh, okay, now I understand how can I bring some information from that pillar, bring some other from that pillar, and create something that is cohesive, rather than something that it doesn't make much of sense, or something that maybe is aesthetically okay, but doesn't have any meaning inside of it.
Mm-hmm. Your screen share is still on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is my.
No, I'm
this
not.
is my.
Oh, there's your graduation portfolio.
Yeah, that's my graduation portfolio. Yes, yes. Yes. Oh, seeing back then, I mean, seeing this right now is like, oh, so many mistakes.
It's really not bad.
I mean, yeah, very tight, I guess. Very scared in not to lose myself into the brush strokes. Everything must be like, you can see a lot of the round brush per se, without having the lightness of just a brush stroke that defines.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the 3D stuff, 3D plus paint on top. That was a fun exercise, like the robots and stuff. This is actually the game that I worked in Scotland after I finished MCT and before I joined here in Streamline. It was actually a nice sort of first step into the industry. It was a 2D game with a very RPG kind of approach. You fly around in the environment with these reef, and then you encounter enemies like in Final Fantasy kind of idea of RPG.
Yeah.
And you fight them, you grow, blah blah blah. And at that time, per se, but we used Unity, so I had to construct all those elements here in the background, like these sort of towers, these pipes and cables and stuff. We had to also, so I had to create the actual level per se. That was actually fun. It was interesting to play around with the lights and play around with the engine and with the actual finish level. So it was a bit of both concept, pre-production and production put together.
Okay.
Let's see what we have here. That's I did after. Sorry. It was one of the two pieces that I did after before landing a job there in Cambodia. This is still the lady luck for the airplane. This is my graduation portfolio. It was very fun actually to do. I think I enjoyed all of those pieces, even if for me right now are old. This one I hate it so much. I hate it so much. I don't know why.
Are those blurry?
Okay. Yeah, it takes a little bit of a while to load.
Okay.
Yeah, this was fun. This was I struggle a lot with this one, but this one was very fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of those. See, I'm happy right now to see them and judge them as simply because it's more like, okay, I'm growing as an artist, so I can see that and I see the mistakes rather than before was, okay, this is the best I can do. I don't see the mistakes yet. So that's a nice feeling. But it's also a terrible feeling like, shit, I really did put, on the wall paintings. Oh, God. So, this was a very nice sort of, Josue was one of our teachers, for everyone that is listening. It was given to us indie game kind of project that we had to create characters, that we have to create environment. Very fun. No, I had a good time. I think when I entered FZD, it was the right moment and the right time for me to join that and to have a sort of very hardcore mentality. Because I went through a lot of years in Italy to struggle for work. And understanding that I wasn't pursuing my passion in doing concept. It was something that I realized after a while, because it wasn't something that was very, let's say the world of concept art was not so open then. So it to understand all artists that are, drawing and creating art for video games. Because in my mind, video games were just done by 3D artists that do the 3D, of course, of the game, and programmers. That's it. no one else.
Yeah.
And I remember that I bought some video game with the art book, and I see the art book. I say, oh shit! But there are really people. They are doing this sort of kind of photo manipulation, but it seems like they are not complete. They're not finished. So maybe they are in the production phase. And then I started to do research. I get into thanks video, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have any idea that there were concept artists that are giving the idea, giving the subject, the painting or solving the problems, right? So that's why it was for me very strange to feel that, oh shit, I can do video games. I love video games. Always loved video games. I always loved drawing and painting, photo manipulation back then. I can merge those two things together. It was such an incredible revelation back then. So yeah, that's how I actually get into concept art.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think so. You say Fang started getting you into concept art?
I was researching on internet some photo manipulation techniques and stuff, and I bumped into Fang's videos.
Okay.
And I saw those because at that moment I finished my graphic design studio after university. I was working, and also my graphic design school called me back to teach. I was teaching Photoshop back then, teaching Photoshop for photo manipulation for advertising. It was basics of Photoshop. So I was looking at some of those videos of Fang, and one of those, I remember that he said something like, "Oh yeah, because in my school, let's say perspective is very long hours of study, blah 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 blah." And I realized, oh, so this, and that's how I get into knowing FCD.
Okay, you cut out
through Fang's video. Yeah. Through that specific Fang's video, in my school, my students learn perspective. So I connected. Oh, okay. So it doesn't just the awesome concept artist, blah blah blah. He also have a school. Oh, okay. Let's try to enroll that. And that, yeah, basically how I went there. Maybe it was a little bit not so informed. But when you feel in your guts, like, oh, this is my path in some ways. So yeah, I was super happy to go there and work for me. So that's basically that. Yeah, that was my journey.
Awesome. Lots of yeah. Let's see. So that definitely covered a number of our questions. Let's see.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
It's good.
I guess.
Yeah, your journey has been.
I mean,
crazy.
For everyone that want to study and want to break into the industry, I would say don't be scared if you are not, drawing from the first year of your life, or if you are in a moment of your path of your career that you are not doing art, you are doing something else, and you want to switch. It's possible. It's absolutely possible. So there's anything that is impossible to do. The only thing is, of course, it takes time, it takes effort. And I would suggest to everyone that want to start this path to consider the fact that you need to have a lot of passion inside of you.
Yeah.
Because it's very demanding. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful career. It's amazing, especially when the games that you are working on are out. So let's put my station just so. When it's a great experience. It's a joyful experience. It's very rewarding in that sense. It's rewarding when you feel inside of you the growth that you're going through. That's amazing. That's really amazing. I can feel how much, for example, from when I joined here in Streamline, I can see how much I growth here and how many different kind of approaches and knowledge that I received here is unbelievable. I'm super, super happy. And I'm still happy that I take this decision to join here Streamline. And it's good, but it's also demanding because you need to be focused and need to put a lot of effort and energy. That's yes. So if people are at home, right?
Okay.
Yeah, just do a very good job.
You just cut out when you were saying that. What was that?
I'm sorry.
People at home and what?
Yeah, it's totally doable. Just put a good effort. Work hard. Don't kill yourself. Work hard. Work smart. Try to understand what's your mistake. Because if you're doing the same mistake, the same painting, the same mistake over and over and over, you don't grow that much. Yeah. You just keep repeating doing the same mistake, and that's it. Try to analyze what's not working. See your favorite artists and see why those paintings, why those concepts, why those line drawing resonate in you, and how they approach, of course, design, but also execution. Why their painting looks so good. Maybe it's the lighting. Maybe the lighting are more subtle. Maybe your lighting are too harsh. Maybe their form is more cohesive. It's more pleasurable. Maybe your forms are a little bit more random. So, try to understand exactly what's not working or what's not working yet. Yeah. And then try to apply it. I was talking with one of my lead artists some months ago, and he had a very interesting way to see things. That he said, and I do agree, that the life, let's say the journey of an artist, is like a staircase, right? So let's switch to Photoshop. Hopefully nothing crashes. I hope so. Sorry, guys. My internet is dumb. Okay, so it's like this. It's like a staircase. Okay, so these points here, let's get a fence for red. These points here are where you grow. So this is, okay, I get a new technique. I get a new way of, or you level up myself. And then you have this part. And this part is where you try to get, let's say, comfortable with this new technique. Yeah. So it's always up and down, because here is flat. You don't grow. You just keep crunching, if you want. Keep doing it. And then you have the spike. Then you have the flat, and then you have the spike. And then you have the flat, and then the spike. So when you are in this zone, here in the flat ones, you want to have your eye that can perceive your mistakes. So your eye can see what's not working. And the most difficult part, at least in his opinion, and I also share it in my opinion, sometimes it's frustrating because your eye can see while your hands cannot reach, right? Yeah. You know what's not working, but you cannot instantly just, apply 100% perfectly that sort of mistake or whatever. So it takes time. It takes effort. It takes multiple tries. So everyone at home, don't quit just because you are in this kind of zone, and then you have to, try to figure it out what's not working, and through feedbacks or everything, or just analyze and then try to apply. So when you apply, you can have another jump, another spike.
Oh, check it out. Our things are working. Okay. Oh, we just had a follower. Our notifications are working, and I'm excited because I got it working.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I'm happy. At least my crappy internet connection.
You just gained us a follower, so you should be very happy. No, I think the idea of the steps is absolutely true. I feel the same way. It's like, and a lot of the time when you're on one of those plateaus, you'll look back and you'll feel like you've never gotten any better.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Yeah, but at the same time, like you feel like, let's say you're here, you feel like, oh, okay, compared to when I was here, I'm better. Let's say here, like I would like to be, and going there, it's not like, oh, okay, it's fine, it's just a curve. No, it's hard, and the harder, the higher you get, the harder it's the steps that you have to go.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, my suggestion is don't stop, because if you stop, you fail.
Everybody's following us
another
now.
thing that,
sorry.
oh, awesome. Okay. One thing that I actually would like to address. Sorry, I talk a lot.
No, we love it.
Sorry.
That's why we're having you.
Okay, awesome. I feel maybe it's a little bit more philosophical, if you want, but I feel blessed to be an artist, because even if with these struggles, and I'm always not happy with anything that I do. There isn't one painting of mine that I am 100%. I'm so happy about this one. Oh, that's so good. No, there is no one I'm happy with. So no painting that I'm happy with. Some of those are resonating me because they are key moments of my growth. Others are, the flat part of it. But I'm blessed to be an artist because it's, in my opinion, at least in me, of purpose in life, a high purpose of my whole journey as a human being in this earth. Mm-hmm. It's in me, and it's always be with me until the end. I will travel to new horizons, right? Yeah. So it's more like it's something that it defines me. Rather than a lot of people maybe live their journey and their life without very much of meaning, like going to work, maybe it's a boring work, going back home, pay taxes and blah blah blah. Carry on in a very boring kind of life. Rather than being an artist really gives me something in my soul that will never be taken away. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I feel extremely blessed to be able to connect and create art, because it enrich myself. Every single piece of art, even if I'm not always satisfied, really enrich me. And that's I guess the beauty of doing art. So that's why everyone that do art, I really encourage, just keep doing, keep doing keep working, because it's something that will always come back and keeps enrich yourself and keeps you elevated internally. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful, beautiful feeling. In fact, I mean, if you see, for example, you don't even have to be an artist to appreciate art per se. I mean, all the museums have incredible artworks, like from the Gioconda of Da Vinci to Love and Psyche is a beautiful statue I guess it's in the Louvre. Let me search fastly. Mauro Cerati. Sorry, guys, I'm Italian, so sometimes I don't know the. Let's see, che statua. Yeah, this one. Oh, it's so good. I saw it, I think, because I think there are two of those in the Louvre. I don't want to see a super stupid thing, but I think one is in the Louvre, one is another museum. That it's amazing. It's really amazing. Mm-hmm. Wow. I mean, it resonates inside of us. Art resonates in us. So it's an amazing thing. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. We got a couple questions if you want to.
Yeah, go on, please. Absolutely. I love a lot to answer to questions. So yeah.
Yeah, great. Reese's Pieces. He says, "What advice?" Is the guy's name? He says, "What advice would you give your younger self?"
Surely, read more, because sadly I don't. I mean, I read books. Yes, I love some books. I ordered one recently on Amazon. Mm-hmm. But I would like to read. Well, I would like to have read a little bit more. I always spend time or drawing. Or photo manipulating, or play video games. Or my younger self, I played a lot of video games. Read more. Oof, I would say don't stress too much, because in the end it's like, your art journey. I always put even right now. So myself in the future would have said to me on this current me right now, I always put a lot of pressure on myself in general for each one of the paintings, especially in art. I would say, yeah, maybe eat a little bit more healthy, I guess, or not do a little bit sport, do sport. I don't do sport at all. Thought to go into the gym is like, it's so boring. I don't want to. I just walk from my house to the studio. It's fine. It's okay. So, no, yeah, that's definitely would be some of the advices.
Okay.
Yeah, be a little bit more open and social, because I'm kind of introverted and shy, if you want. I'm reserved, that kind of character. I like to talk, like this kind of conversation. I enjoy them so much, and because I'm a bit introverted and shy and stuff, so that's the balancing opposite. So I enjoy talking about art so much that, yeah, this kind of conversation, this kind of stuff, I really, really, really like it.
Okay. Yeah, we love having you on.
Do you have any person that inspires you besides artists?
Oh yeah, sure, yes. There are some people that inspired me a lot. One of those was my Japanese literature teacher. He was really, 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 really good. He had a huge charisma, but he used his charisma to inject it into his lectures. So in the end, all of his lectures about Japanese literature, I can still remember it right now, almost crystal clear. And he put a lot of passion inside of me for, in general, as in the Japanese sort of ancient historic part, but also in deal with life, I guess. I would say, yeah. Another one was actually, yeah, as we talked before, was Suwei, our teacher, that is, apart from everything that he teach to us, but he teach me also some very life lessons. And I always when I had the chance to speak with him, I always felt enriched inside of me. He is a very, very intelligent and wise person, a lot. And I don't know, he was able to understand quickly, even just the problems that people have. So he actually inspired me a lot, really, really, really a lot. Oh God. I mean, in terms of art, there was some artists that I was following, and yeah, sure, they give me a huge, strong impact on me. Like Alessandro Barbari, I show you guys. I guess now he's a concept artist. So he was a pure artist, and yeah, this is the paintings I did. See, very extreme photo manipulation kind of stuff. So that's where my photo manipulation side came from. To get this. That it's very sort of bizarre kind of concept. I love his concepts; are amazing. So I was asking to him a lot, like contacting him with email, like how do you do your stuff, how you came out with this kind of things, and that's where my photo manipulation stuff came from. Like I wanted to, he does these amazing subjects, I can do that too. He uses Photoshop. Okay, let's try to use Photoshop. He does with photographs. Okay, let's try to do photographs, because I was not very good until today to do characters. So when I was photographing my friends, the anatomy is already perfect. So that's where my photographic and photo manipulation side came from. I almost never painted before FZD. So apart from the CGMA course that I did, was something that was completely drawing. Drawing for me was something that I was always doing with pencil. I hate ink. I don't know why. I always been a pencil kind of guy. So in a certain way, painting for me reminds me more of that pencil kind of sensation on the paper rather than drawing. I do prefer painting to line drawing. I do line drawing, that's not a problem, I like it. But line drawing, I connected more with ink. Painting, I connected more with pen.
Okay.
So more interested to explore painting compared to line drawing. And again, it's more new. It's like 5 years, 6 years that I'm painting, rather than drawing, even without fundamentals that much, even without understanding. It's just drawing. So there was something that, okay, it's not something new. Painting is something completely new, and it has so much depth that is always fun to me to challenge myself to understand all those layers of depth that a painting can have. Yeah, basically, is that.
Yeah, definitely. We got another question on this. So
Go.
If you had to restart from nothing, what would be your plan?
That's hard.
Yeah,
that's hard because No, I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, I have a philosophy in life that things happen for a reason. My let's say force, if you want, it's not that much, but for choice to do Chinese and Japanese at university, I would say that but I went to China. I lived there for some months, so I opened myself to know. Sorry, I take it a little bit slow. This answering on this question a little bit too much, but I will get to the point. That I was exposed to the let's say a completely different kind of culture, and living there was a blast. Was amazing, great. But when I went to Singapore and when I went here, there are Asian, Southeast Asian countries. It wasn't a cultural shock anymore. I already had it. So it opens to me to, I guess, open my visual library to see the Great Wall of China, the clay warriors. So it opens, I guess, a bit of this experience that we concept artists use when you inject them into our work. So if I would go back, yes, what I would change is to go to the Art Academy. Yes, something I would change. I would go study concept art way before and start this journey way before. That's a thing that I probably would like to address. But at the same time, I ask myself this question, and I think the answer would be, I would probably be a better artist than I am right now, but maybe I wouldn't be, how can I explain? Maybe my visual library and my research in life would be so flat that it's not something that I wouldn't be maybe a good concept artist. I mean, not that I'm good right now, but I would be, in my opinion, maybe I would be too much consumed by aesthetical research of art rather than inject the brain inside of the pieces per se. If I explain myself somehow. Sorry, I don't know what open to talk about. Put it there. That's basically what I think. So I think it would be up.
I'm sorry. I thought you.
No, please, go, please.
Okay. Is there any new skills or software program that you're going to learn in the future that you have decided?
Oh yeah. I'm tackling wrestling with Blender in this moment. I like it, but I feel somehow a little, maybe because I'm a little bit in the beginning of Blender. I feel it's very harsh as a program. Let's say that I usually use 3D code for 3D, and the imperfection that 3D code gives me somehow doesn't bother me quite much during the block-out. It gives me a little bit of, parts to play with when I do a painting. The sort of imperfection that, real world can have, rather than the pure perfection of the 3D. So Blender, I do feel a little bit of this. It's really good because the block out that you can do is very light. So it's not as heavy as 3D code, for example. I feel a little bit strange sometimes. So I use a bit of box cutter, but it's definitely a program that I would like to know way more. Maybe I would go back to study a little bit more of Marvelous Designer. I tried it a little bit. It's interesting per se, this sort of closed simulation program, but I feel it's the curve of learning that is so high that it doesn't allow you any sort of middle ground. Like, okay, it's good enough, let's go. Especially in the forms of the patterns that for everyone at home that doesn't know what that program is, it's basically a program that you have your mannequin. Sorry guys. And then you basically design and draw the shapes of let's say the t-shirt or the costumes, the clothes that you want. And these shapes basically they get attached to the model per se, creating all the folds and all the shapes that the model had. So it's a sort of closed simulator, but those sort of shapes need to be very defined, very precise. That is hard for me in the beginning when I was learning it. Let's say play with it in a little bit more forgiving way. You can play with Photoshop; it's pretty much forgiving. It's also very straightforward, colors, brushes, blah blah. Mauro Designer is a little bit more technical, so you have to really get into it quite a lot more. At least for me, I'm very slow learner also. So VR is something that I would like to try. I tried a couple of times. I tried Kill. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Medium?
It's Quill.
Oh, Quill. Yeah, virtual reality drawing. Quill.
Yes. I tried it. It was extremely weird. When I was in Train of Horse, I saw Goro Fujita that was doing his amazing animations in Quill. It was amazing, incredible. Cool. It's a very. It reminds me a lot of Suwei. I don't know how, I don't know why. It has the same sort of amazing intellect. Other than that, it's a very weird software, Quill, linked to the VR. Because first of all, the VR for me is very heavy. The helmet is quite heavy. So me with the glasses, it's not super much comfortable. I tried it for 15, 20 minutes, and I feel a little bit, of physical fatigue compared to, just drawing and on a tablet and stuff. I wasn't used to in the VR world. So the other difficulty that I had was to understand what are those two things in my hand, the joystick in your hand, because I never use them. So it's like someone that never played any video games. You give him a PS4 controller and say, okay, let's tap X, tap R1. What? Where they are? So that kind of disconnection between the buttons and where the buttons are, what they are doing, and myself, because I couldn't see it. So every single time I had to take my goggles away and see and take them again back in. was a little bit discomforting. I would like to try it again. It's very powerful. It's very, very interesting as a technology for everything that you can do. I feel I would like to have a more light equipment, like just a pair of glasses. So in that case, I would, oh man, that would be incredibly amazing.
Oh yeah.
I feel it's that sort of heavy, almost cyberpunk stuff that you have to put your head.
Yeah. No, it's pretty big.
It's a little. Yeah. But again, yes, that's another stuff that I would like to try. Octane is something that I like a lot, but I cannot use it in Pro because it has. Yeah, it's like Octane doesn't work for Mac. Poor Mac. But I tried the trial version. It's fantastic. I love Octane a lot.
Yeah,
it's great. That yes.
Yeah. So VR's pretty big.
What about you?
I have a Oculus right here.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. Ooh.
Yeah. Oculus right here. I use it all the time for work. I actually sculpt.
Really? You can?
I actually sculpt stuff out in Medium, and then I put it in ZBrush, and then I throw it into Keyshot or Blender. And well, I'd have to take this off, but so it's like like that.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, it's true. I would like to. I'm not sure stuff. It's just a technology per se. I feel the gear, the VR gear, is still a little bit too heavy for me.
Yeah, it's a
maybe
little
just because I have glasses.
The resolution's not super high. You can work with it, but it's just like how Photoshop used to be a long time ago. It's like not super polished and all that. We can go into some more questions too if you want.
Yeah. Sure. No, I want to address something on the VR actually. I tried a couple of times also for demos here in Streamline. I mean, when my producer let me try some demos normal demos. And we tried this beautiful sort of shot of a company that made it. I don't remember the name. It was a nice demo that someone did. So sorry, I don't remember it. But it was a shot of an alley and a lot of soldiers that are like firing in this alley on a mecha that was in the. You didn't have any sort of control, and the camera was like keep going on. So you're just like seeing through the eye of this camera that keep going on, and everything is slow mo. And it was actually fucking unbelievable. It was so good. I really enjoyed it a lot. I didn't even felt any motion sickness at all. That was actually really good. Like the huge explosion, and the car that's flying around you. You're seeing like Deadpool kind of thingy, and the bullets with this huge mecha that in the end like stand at 2 feet, go near you. That was actually super cool. But the technology per se is still so raw that it's hard for me to interact with and think about to interact with in 8 hours or 10 hours or X hours of work.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely consider myself pretty lucky because I don't get motion sickness at all. The first time I ever tried VR, I played Skyrim VR for like 12 hours straight, and I didn't get any motion sickness. And I turned all the safe filters off, so how it like darkens the edges when you run and teleporting. I turned everything off and played it all night, and I just for some reason I don't get very motion sick. So I loved it, man. I played all the DLCs for Skyrim and everything. I had red marks on my head from the headset.
That's great.
Yeah, but I mean, for people with like glasses and for people with who get motion sickness, I think VR definitely needs to go to the next levels before.
Yeah, I suffer the glasses quite a lot. Yeah, That was a huge thing. So for even just the calibrate those Googles to my eyesight, it's not a very direct passage. So yeah, I mean, hopefully surely they will come out with some sort of
I'm sure they will.
Device that allows you to maybe it will just be contact lenses. That's fine.
Yeah. We can go on to a couple more questions, and then maybe we can get into
I'm enjoying a lot.
Then maybe we can get into your your presentation. That's gonna be it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe we can quickly run through a couple. Aside from concept art, do you have any other hobbies or activities?
Oh yeah, I love cooking a lot.
Cooking.
Awesome. It's something that because it's something that is so okay. I found some relationship between concept art and cooking that actually helped me in a certain way. In the other way is something that is completely different from concept art. That when I cook, I don't have to think about concept art because I'm always there, like thinking about concept art almost all the hours of my life.
Mm-hmm. Do you experiment with a lot of your ingredients, or do you just stick to a certain, way of cooking?
I realize that in the end, sadly, I have to say that I just rely on the recipe and my Italian way of cooking because it's the way of cooking that I grew with. So I can relate to those ingredients that I can, let's say, improvise a little bit without going out too much outside of the tracks. I don't. No, I'm more like, okay, I see a recipe, for example, I would like to try it. I can maybe some changes because I can find some ingredients or whatever. Usually, I stick sort of with the basic recipe that. In this moment, I'm doing also fresh pasta by myself. My flatmate is helping me sometimes for the pasta and stuff, or focaccia. There is a typical kind of bread in Italy, and that, for example, is interesting to approach it with because you have to be very scientific. Like 100 grams of flour is 100 grams of flour. That's it. Can't go 150 and hope that the bread will, magically turn okay. It's more like you have to respect those sort of, the measurements of the recipe per se. In the connection that I find between cooking and concept art is more like when I cook, I think before what I want to achieve, which kind of taste I want that the guests want to have when they eat my food. And at the same time, it's like planning a concept before, like do thumbnails and stuff. You try, you see what's working, what's not, and that is a sort of kind of similarity that I found that it makes me think about all those kind of craft like art, concept art, whatever, like sculpting, all the art per se has a sort of common ground. Or maybe I'm just talking, so don't worry, guys. But no, yeah, I mean, that cooking, quite much. Having a lot of fun in that. I would like to, for example, did you guys do that exercise in FZD to buy the little model and build in it? And
yes.
Goran did it. I did not.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it so much. It was one of the most fun exercises I had there. I would like to buy and to build some of those models because I never did it before. And I find it so enjoyable. It's so fun. Sure, I would like to get into, construct your own tank or airplane or stuff, and also improve visual library. So
it's very therapeutic. It also releases a lot of stress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, cooking also for me is also release a lot of stress, and that's why I like it. It's not a passion, just a hobby. But release stress. Yeah, you said it right. Yes, it's true. Really true. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So, where are you based at the moment?
In the moment in Kuala Lumpur. Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Yes. Okay. It's very hot. It's very, very hot. I have to say, I think I perceive a little less humid than Singapore. Maybe because Kuala Lumpur is not directly on the sea. So I feel slightly less humid. Sometimes in the end of the day, it's slightly less hot. It's still hot, but it's not as, I guess, like as it was in Singapore. I mean, I guess it's just a sensation. Yeah, but yeah, I'm here in Kuala Lumpur. Yes, it's fun. It's kind of fun.
Do you miss Italy?
Yes and no. I miss my friends, of course, because the majority of my friends are there. I miss winter. I miss the snow. I miss the autumn. I mean, the change of season. What is strange here, there is no seasons at all. So it's something that is mostly like in a time bubble where the changing anywhere in during the year. But no, I don't miss let's say the work environment of Italy. No, that's I don't. I'm very happy to be outside. I mean, in the international kind of world. That's something that it opened my, let's say, sandbox of life way more and gives me way more of experience. For that, no, we have quite much of problems, financial problems in Italy. So yeah, outside is way better, to be honest. Sadly, because it's my country, so I am attached to it. I would like to see, with all the beautiful stuff that we have, the amazing art and landscapes and food and everything that we have, suddenly we struggle a lot. And it's make me sad to see my country in the way that it is right now. I hope that we will, turn out to be good. But in this moment, it's so and so. So yeah, all the Italian people that are there and maybe listen to this podcast and want to become a concept artist, keep in mind that probably need to travel and probably need to go outside Italy. That's yes. I mean, unless you have been able to launch yourself as a freelance artist. So in that case, I mean, you can work everywhere you want.
Do you burn out?
Oh yeah.
Have you ever been through burnout?
Oh yeah.
And if so, how did you get out?
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I burned out a lot of times in my life. Before FTD, I wouldn't say in FTD because we were always pushed to do so. Not that much. After FTD, yes, a lot. Yes. I kind of burned out. I won't say recently, but some months ago. Yes.
Do you want to turn your webcam on, by the way?
Yeah, man.
Sure.
You can stop streaming.
Yeah, me. Okay. What? No. What I have to do?
Just hit that button on the green.
On the green. Me. Interrupt. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
There it is.
There you
sorry,
are.
guys.
We missed you.
Yay!
Okay. Yeah. My stupid face. Okay. Bye. No, I burn out a lot. I burn out for a lot of different reasons. Even before FZT, I burn out like shit for so many times. Before FZT, I burn out because I was doing the same sort of things over and over and over. The same sort of photo manipulation for myself also. So I get into the thingy of I don't know what to do anymore. I also wasn't I wasn't growing. In that case, the concept part was something that refreshed a lot my inner art. Right now, when I burn out, usually, or I do studies, because studies are very much like Anderson studies or movies are very simple to approach. You know what you have to do, you just do it. You can set a time limit, you can allow yourself to not color picking or whatever it is, but a study is very is very definable kind of exercise compared to let's do your own concepts. Let's do your own concepts is involve activity, maybe you can have blogs and this kind of stuff. When I burn out also, if I don't want to do studies, I always go back to super comfortable zone. There is my little Greek, ancient Greek kind of project that I'm very attached to. And that is every single time you guys see me doing some Greek stuff, it's because basically it's that. I would suggest to just go into your extremely comfortable zone don't care about anything, just do what you like, because it's where you are being most fresh. Or again, what I found is like, I do studies or similar. I can also, for example, advise to, let's say you read a book. If you don't have anything to like, I don't know what to do, it always gives you something to fuel your artistic, let's say. And I find it very useful. I was burnout quite a lot some times ago, and then I just read some books. And oh shit, yeah, oh that's so cool. I can. You already see a concept in your head. That's fuel and spark your creativity a lot. Yes, books are very, very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm very quite much of a fan of Graham Hancock and all of these ancient civilization theories, and that's another thing that like, okay, if I burn out, I just go back to that kind of ancient civilization theme and continue that. Books are very, very good sort of because it triggers your imagination. I love movies. Sure, I go to see movies, blah, blah, blah. But movies are more direct. They're more fast. A book, you have to commit yourself. A book, when you read a book, it's not 2 hours, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours of experience. It's way more. Mm-hmm. And also, everything is written. So you have to figure it out in your head. The action is, what the characters are doing, what the environment is presented, the theories that are presented. So you have to use your imagination in order to interact with the written media per se. So that's why I guess it's a very good way to refuel your thinking, I've been burned out a lot. Mm-hmm. Before MSD was a huge burnout that lasts for, I don't know, I guess 1 year, 1 year and a half. I didn't even want to do any sort of art. I'm not say that I almost quit art, but I was in a moment where art was like, I just go to work and do the graphic design stuff, that's it. I was in a pretty much, not in a very good relationship with art because of this massive burnout. Mm-hmm. Now I have my own... Okay. Sorry, please. Sorry.
Oh no. No. It's all good. We like hearing what you have to say. Jarrett asks, what company is there in Malaysia? And also, there are very few companies in Southeast Asia coming from Singapore.
Sort of, because, for example, I don't know the full spectrum of the companies here. Of course, there are us, Streamline Studios. Here in Kuala Lumpur, I know that there is also Lemon Sky. There's another big company. There is Silver Ant, and I guess a couple of others. Plus, in Singapore, you have some other companies. You have Singapore, Ubisoft, Singapore. There is actually quite much of activity, or at least more than in my own country. So I'm happy for that. Mm-hmm. No, there is a couple of big studios also here. That's yes. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're not as famous as, let's say, EA, Ubisoft. They're massive, ginormous, spread all over the world. But I don't know. There are. I don't know all of them, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Speaking of burnout, okay, I want to hear what your thought about this. I used to really hate working on 3D because I couldn't find good tutorials and programs. You know, and I started to realize in this industry you really need to learn 3D because, you know, it's like, now we have like 500 horsepower cars. You have to drive that instead of the old whatever 50s cars, right? So for me, I'm still struggling with learning 3D, but what happened was that I started doing my favorite topic in 3D. And that kind of helped me to add just a little bit of what I don't like to do into my workflow to make it get better, right? And sometimes, whether you hate it or not, technology can actually make your things better at certain levels, right? So what do you think about if I just share my method of how to learn the things that I don't like in this way? Well, what's your thought on that? You know, let's say like, maybe with your Greek stuff, you like to just paint it, right? It's easy, it's your super comfortable zone. But how about using that topic to learn the things that you kind of struggle with, but use that emotional stimuli to motivate you to do something, you know, make the pain a little bit easier, you know? What do you what's your take on that?
That's a good way to see things too, because as concept artists, in theory you have to know everything. That is basically impossible. So there is always some certain areas that we, let's say, we are more weak. We have to, research more. My point of view is more like it's always extremely useful to learn new stuff. It's a bit, in my opinion, to go into, okay, I learned this 3D program because I don't know very much 3D, and I want to link to a theme that I am not, sort of double negation, that if you succeed, you actually get a lot of more benefit because you catch two birds with one stone. Compared, let's say you approach 3D, I want to do, let's say, Greek stuff because it's my comfortable zone, but I don't know anything about 3D. So I use 3D to do something that I'm passionate about. You have a chance to say, okay, I want to go through the end of the project, rather than maybe, for example, I'm not very much comfortable. Not my forte to do the same thing. I know that I suck at mecha. But for example, when I did the mecha, that is my portfolio, for me it was like, okay, I go through the struggle to do something that is not my comfortable zone, but I choose the medium that I am comfortable with, like drawing. So I think it's the chances that you successfully go through, in my opinion, maybe can be slightly slower if you put yourself into a double negation kind of.
I think his internet's acting up. He will be right back.
So we have some couple of ads while we're waiting.
Nah. Oh yeah, I can show something while we're waiting. It's pretty epic. Okay.
Hey, sorry, man, you were gone for like 30-40 seconds.
Yeah, I have something appropriate for that though. Here we go.
Sorry.
You were saying something about double negation, double negative, or
I think it's a little bit harder. So I don't know. I feel it's in the beginning. Maybe you learn some new software linked to your favorite team or something like that, and then you can on and have okay. I want to refine my workflow and get into my absolute non-comfortable zone. So in that case, you have more chance to get up. But again, I think it's very, very personal. Some people are more inclined to get, this high high chance of risk and get a lot of reward, rather than prefer a little bit more straightforward. And actually very interesting, because I genuinely think that say workflows and approaches and tutorials, sometimes there is one tutorial that clicks you and you understand what's going on. Like when I studied 3D code, because I use 3D code as a 3D program compared to ZBrush, 3D code clicked to me 100%. I like it. It's something that I feel the workflow that I have and the interactions of the program that I had is something that in my mind was the most near sculpting and interacting with the 3D environment compared to, I don't know, let's say ZBrush. I like ZBrush a lot, but I find it is the way the program thinks is different compared to 3D code. So some tutorials and some approaches in the same way, the same subject can be taught in two different ways, and this subject can click with some people and click with just another people, or at least, again, point of view. So I don't know if I'm right or wrong. It's just what I think.
Yeah. Do we want to go into the demo?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
All right. So
okay.
while you're preparing, Buren, did you see that thing that I made?
Sorry, man. Which one?
This. Check this out, dude.
Yay.
I was even thinking of making when someone does a follow, like maybe one of our faces shows up, like so and so is now following.
Awesome.
Make something funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Mauro, you ready?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay.
All right.
So the breakdown that I have, and I'm very grateful to Streamline that allow me to share the let's say the behind the scene of this concept, is this one, is the Russia steampunk red square that I did back then. The internal project, I am not allowed to talk about what the project is per se, but I'm allowed to show how I did this concept, the technical aspect that I did this concept. And there are a couple of things that I like to address in order to let people at home understand that doing concept is not a straightforward journey sometimes, and sometimes can have different kind of roads that you lead to the final project, to the final painting. So for this project, I started with collecting references. So let's start to talk about the importance of references. Those are some of the references I gather because it's Russia, so I couldn't, gather London. So this is some of the Russian landscapes and the Kremlin square that is in Moscow. Some of those, for example, the ones on the left bottom are more like a mood sort of reference compared to the other ones that are more like architectural references. The Kremlin, sorry, I keep calling Kremlin, it's actually the St. Peter's Basilica. Sorry, I will do that mistake a lot. So how this basilica is made is because it's very iconic of Moscow and Russia. You show that, you already understand this is Russia, this is Moscow. Compared to maybe, let's say, for example, this reference here, you kind of get the sense of European, East European kind of architecture. Maybe you get Russian because of these sort of elements of design here, but it's not as iconic.
Mm-hmm. Do you think you could open that file and zoom in on it? I think it may be a little bit small. Yeah. I know some people watch Twitch on their phone.
Yeah. Yes. For example, see, these sort of architectural elements are mostly visible into a Russian environment. But if you take them away and see like that, you can kind of see, okay, this is European East European kind of vibe, but it's not as impactful as just look at the silhouette. This is Russia. This is Moscow. That's it, done. So the silhouette is very, very strong and so iconic. It's like Tour Eiffel. So I wanted to have this iconic monument in the middle of the sea. Some other references. Let's whatever. Sorry. Close these. I like to open in Photoshop because I love Photoshop. So.
Photoshop.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, that's just my thing. So yes, these were very close up that I found. I use quite much pxhere.com. There's a very good site because it's free.
What site is that?
And pxhere.com. I can search for you guys. Here.com.
Oh, I've never heard of this site.
It's great. All the photos are, in theory, are free as long as they have the denomination CC0. So that's good. Like you can use it in every single image that you want, even if it's like commercial use, as long as they have that denomination. And plus, it's free. I'm not complaining about that. So that's actually a good website. So a lot of those, details and stuff came from the website or just, searching from internet to see how the St. Peter's Basilica is made of. Like all of those texture they have, each kind of material they have. See, this is way more shining and way more glossy compared to maybe this one. How those things are made. So when I made it in 3D code, I made a blockout in 3D code. I need to understand what's going on here to try to get as close as I could. Mm-hmm. That's basically some of the references, some others for the, more of the Russian architecture, because sort of feeling and sort of design of the architecture per se, like these very interesting forms and connections that go through this house here. I don't remember the name of this house. It has a very specific name. See the same sort of motif that going on in these Russian buildings. These wood beams there. It's so interesting, so kind of unique. So all of those, this page was actually just for architecture and the Kremlin. So this one, same, but it has a little bit more of need to create also the ground. So I wanted to see, for example, how the layout of the I guess this is Versailles.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah. How is the design of the layout of let's say one of those ancient buildings and palaces? I'll talk about it later, but I'll just begin right now. I wanted to create a sort of connection between the layout, something like that, of the ground, and those sort of symbols there, I guess, the Orthodox Church. Wow. I didn't want to put any kind of religious references at all, but just to, play with the forms and shapes. This is actually, it's interesting, the crux with the oblique kind of part here. So I want to say, okay, let's imagine something that is, play safe, but at the same time has a sort of interesting concatenation of forms and shapes. And that's references for give me at least an initial boost of creativity to get a sort of ground pattern in a way more, in an easy way, like see those sort of diamond shapes, the sort of square shapes and stuff. Was something that I wanted to inject into the ground floor of the square per se. Like, yeah, see these things here also. Something that has a little bit more of meaning or research. So that's what I was trying to achieve. So that's why I tried to get these sort of references, like how those ancient palaces deal with the design of the fields there and all the sort of elements here and there. After I finished to collect references, I started to get into the design of the 3D. And initial pass of thumbnails. So these are those. These are the first thumbnails that I was doing for the project. I tried to narrow down some views. They are very fast, so I wasn't concerned for quality rather than how I feel the environment, how I feel the mood. Do I like doing this? For example, going through these thumbnails and refine to a final project, or maybe this one is more successful. So after a bunch of tries, I said, okay. Oh, thanks. I don't know. This one, for example, I started to use to get very heavy block out, just the black silhouette, and then on top of it, with a clipping mask, I just was, doing this sort of the light pass in order to give me some structure on it. Most of those were mostly for composition and mood. I see the drum here is an idea that I actually carry through until the end. So some of the elements was already there, some others weren't. Like here, again, the crux, but I didn't want to go into that direction because I want to play safe, not have any sort of relationship with the religions part. I don't want to bother anyone. So I want to say, okay, this is another universe. Then I start the block out in the 3D. I do have the block out. I don't think my Mac will ever be able to open. It's so huge and big that
you have screenshots of it. Yeah, right there.
Yes.
That's
this is the block out. Yeah. So this is kind of safe. Yes, basically I just sculpted the whole Kremlin here, but St. Peter's Basilica. See, I can't. And the sort of square. So at that point, for me, it was more like, okay, I know what I want to do. I want to do this St. Peter's Basilica here. Huge superstructure behind that is mirror the basilica, but it's massive. They are constructed this ginormous thing there. The focal point I wanted to have always here. So the block out was very rough in terms of all those houses here, just noise elements, something that, okay, I will take care after I know there will be some houses here, but I want to have the most focal part here. And the rest, this is some of the, I guess, the parliament kind of building in Russia. I don't know, I've never been there in Moscow yet. But it's very iconic because it's all red. This stays on the right side of the St. Peter's Basilica. After that, I was thinking, okay, I like it, but I'm feeling like I'm losing a little bit the element of the steampunk per se. So I wanted to have some sort of steampunk elements, just a little bit here and there. I don't want to have very massive kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So the huge railroad here, it's basically the most iconic thing of the steampunk universe. And then I started to play around a little bit with the materials of the St. Peter Basilica. So instead of having the real colors and stuff, why, for example, you have the bronze, or you have maybe it's constructed with the wood and with this copper stuff. Mm-hmm. So it gives me a little bit back of this steampunk feeling that I was trying to achieve. I was thinking I was losing it a little bit during the project. Basically, after that, it was mostly like try to search a good angle, a good shot to present the painting. Sorry, maybe I'm going a little bit faster, but okay. What did I do?
Control Z.
I lose a thumbnail. Yeah, fine, whatever. I lose one thumbnail. Fine. Okay. Yay! Good demo.
Okay. We have a question. Yeah. Someone says, "Is this Blender?" Yes. Oh, we got a follower. Someone says, "Is this Blender?" This is 3D
code.
Yeah.
Yes, this is all in 3D code. The rendering in this case is just 3D code. It's simply because I wasn't approaching Blender yet.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, and
there is no other reason about that.
This is not.
This is a couple of. This is just 3D code.
Kit Bash 3D at all? No.
No. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, some of those, for example, I build a couple of houses and then I replicate them. But no, it's not Kit Bash at all. I don't have that much of Kit Bash element actually, in general. So no. I just construct everything and then carefully place it here and there. And when I came to this state, I take a couple of screenshots and say, okay, let's try to do some fast paint over on. Because I want to see if the composition works, if I'm excited on what's going on, or if I find it need a little bit more work. And after those pass, I was like, yeah, I'm okay, but I'm not fully 100% satisfied about it. It was time to do that. So I went back into sketching, just very rough block out. I didn't care about having very much of quality in this state, but I want to see, is the composition working for me, or I still feel it's, not very much effective to present the final painting. So I did also this one, and this one has the same problem. Was okay, I kind of like it. I don't dislike it, but it doesn't have the sort of fact that I was searching. So at the end of the day, I basically try to say, okay, I'm stuck. What I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. And I went, okay, let's try to simplify everything. I went back to the first one, like this.
What are you rendering this in?
To this one is me. Sorry, what?
What do you render your 3D in? Is it in 3D code also?
Oh, yes. Yeah, also because it was so massive and big, there was just a suicide exporting and rendering everything else. Yeah, in 3D code, yes. I kind of like it. It's very simple. Would prefer that 3D code have, way more complex kind of render. But yeah, I mean, sometimes that's the job, and it's fine. So when I was starting to say, okay, which one of those in the beginning I was actually feeling most passionate about, like which one was actually resonating the most with me, and this one, I think like, this one would be, sorry, Siri, stupid. I don't know what I click always when I paint this Siri. How can I help you? Thank you. So I know this one has something. So I said, okay, I want to go back into this composition because it was something that I was feeling was going to the right direction. And yeah, after tries, I came up with this one. It's very simple. It's not complex at all, but simple shapes, simple strong shapes, few elements. Can I let the people understand what my concept is about?
Yeah.
The rule of 3 seconds. Like in 3 seconds, can you understand what's going on? Then you can spend a lot of time seeing all the details, but at least have something that holds without you having to explain. So I said, okay, yeah, fine, cool. I like it. I like the shot. I want to go into the direction. That's it. Cut, done. No more going back and forth. Otherwise, I will be stuck there forever. So after this, let's close these guys. Not much. After this, I basically take the 3D code file. Let's break down. And I start to do the render. This is the first pass. Yeah, basically it's composition. I was adding a little bit of atmospheric fog, try to separate a little bit of the elements, the materials. I wanted to have this sort of steampunkish kind of material. Those columns here that I added later, but the composition at least was already sort of solved. At least this is where I wanted to go. From this point on, it was just a matter of, okay, let's try to finalize everything in terms of details and add, a huge amount of hours of photo paint, paint on top, blah, blah, blah. But at least the initial part of design and composition was was something that, okay, I like it. Let's go with this one.
So will you do like a sketch on top of this, like roughly, to figure out where your design elements are?
Yes, it was this one. Yes,
okay,
precisely. This one was, okay, I still want to be into sort of rough kind of state, but I wanted to see if the elements that I put inside of it are gelling together and what's going on. Yes, this was still a rough kind of state with already 3D block out with the elements on it, but me just, you know, noodling around, see if the lights is something that is the mood that I want to search, is the design that I want to present. But yeah, this is still, again, a little bit into the rough thumbnail, refine rough thumbnails, call it however you want. And then, okay, I said, oh, yeah, fine, boom, let's start. And this is the actual real render.
okay.
With all the elements already in place, where when with the Siri always there. Ask attention. Hey guys, I can be helpful. No, Siri, just shut up. Yeah, I want to have this sort of very early in the morning, like very bluish sort of atmosphere. Already start to, you know, put the people here and there to give me an element of depth of the square per se. Yes, you can have read the depth from the columns, but I wanted to also have, you know, how big, because it's of course not a realistic environment. It's more a fantasy kind of environment. So who knows if this St. Peter's Basilica is, you know, super massive or super tiny. Yeah, basically after that it became just say I open like this. Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to get these sort of banners here. Oh well, it is. But yeah, okay. And at a certain point, I say, okay, I need to have something for the ground, and that's where this sort of design came from. I can show you later with details, but just to get the reference of before, I wanted to have something that is not just flat. Even if I like these beams of light, that was just, you know, a flat sort of surface. I want to have something more, something also that the design of the ground per se was interesting for the people to look at. So yeah, this is when I constructed this ground element with all the smart materials, the roughness, the texture maps. I re-rendered this part here and slap on top of the environment, because I wanted also to have those lines here of the graphical lines that also direct the eye to the focal point. There is the St. Peter's Basilica. For the Basilica per se, I was, in the end, I re-get back a bit of the original design, because I felt it was going so much far away with this copper and wood stuff that was slightly not recognizable anymore, but, you know, not what I was having in mind, I guess. I started to add some carriages here and there just to populate the environment, to have something that is not just dead and without any life. And that this is the almost final pass, where, you know, all the carriages are here. I start to add, maybe these are the tram trails, so the trams can go around the square, blah blah blah. You have these guards here, the statue with the smoke that came out from the palm of the head, this huge sort of basilica in construction, and this smoke that coming in from steampunk pipes, and the tram. And here I say, okay, I want to design a tram here because there is already one in this part, but it's very little. So this is like, okay, there is also steampunk trams in this universe, but it's super little. I'm fine with it's little because it's far away, but I want to have also someone that is very recognizable and very near the camera, just to get, the feeling of trams going in and out. So yeah, oops. Yeah, okay, take this one. And yeah, that is how it came out, this guy here. So I take a little bit of time and say, okay, with references and stuff, I tried to design a sort of steampunk kind of tram. I wanted to have something that is very clunky, not let's say not pleasurable, but you feel that it's not, there is something that is in the beginning of the steampunk era, if you want. This is the huge wheel came from the the steampunk tractor that had this huge wheel on the side, and the burner of the coal here, and I wanted to have these pipes on the front, so I need to have some sort of connection between the burner part and the pipes per se. So I need to solve some problems in designing these pipes here and design this mechanism here and there.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, basically this is the final look. I wanted to still see the huge railroad here for the train. It's like, okay, I still want to have this sort of huge railroad of the train that I was doing in the 3D block out in the beginning. But in the beginning I felt so clunky, just drop it there. And then here I try to incorporate into the environment per se.
Yeah,
and,
wow. I really like this piece.
Thanks. I'm super helpful and grateful to Streamline that I was able to show the process of this one. I'm very, very, very grateful. So thank you so much. And I hope that you guys enjoy, the thought that was behind it. So to complete that, okay, let's open here. Yeah, this is the ground. When I was designing the ground, it looked like that. Then with all the layers and all the carriages on top, we get lost a little bit. So this is actually the 3D block out that I render. See the
it's based on the priest's robe, right?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to have something that was religious, so it was just a sort of visual kind of clue of shapes and forms, and based also with the patterns of those beautiful gardens of those manors, something like that. Let's see which kind of patterns, which kind of concatenation of forms and stuff. Yeah, I didn't want to have any sort of religion symbols because I want to play safe. Look, it's not a thingy. Let's construct something that is unique. And yeah, this is just a try that I made, a concept that I made, very, very fast, very rough. I like it. I thought, okay, let's go with this one. And then I create the maps. These are, for the people that are at home studying, this is how a texture look like. So this is called albedo or color pass, and usually it's the color of it. Like see which kind of, let's say, how can I say, a material without any reflectivity inside of it. So completely blank material. This is how it's presented. I guess it's a cavity map. It's like and the cavity. The material per se are enhanced. This is a high map, means when you apply this map to a material, it automatically creates something that bumps out and in based on how much white or how much black there is. In this case, the more white, the more bump up. I can open in Blender and slap those guys there and see how it goes. This is the metalness. That means that how much metal is inside of it. Usually it's black and white, because I want to have these gold kind of streams. That of course have gold, so it's pure metallic part, so it's white. And here it's just concrete, so there is no metal inside of it, no metal in the concrete, and so it's white, just black. And that's the bump map, the normal map, where it gives an extra bumpiness of the material per se. So when I created those, I created it specifically for the ground. And yeah, this is the final result. So you can see that.
Mm-hmm. So these different
this metal.
Oh
yeah,
these different maps that you're making, are you making these in Photoshop?
I'm making the. Oh yeah, sorry. This is the roughness.
Okay.
This one I'll make it in Photoshop. Yes.
Okay.
The normal I did it, I guess, with Quixel that I had back then. Quixel, so I made it. I don't like Quixel that much simply because when I open it, you always have this stupid thing with Photoshop. Stupid bug that when I pan in, zoom in, and zoom out, I press how it is like Control space, and then I pan.
Mm-hmm.
And when I open Quixel, always this pan is not working anymore. So I need to rely on the navigator.
Okay.
I mean, I use Quixel. Then I created these. I think I extrapolate. I extrapolate the black part. I can do it right now very fastly. No. I think I had this tile, so I think I did white, and then I just enhance the black and the white parts.
Yeah.
So in this case, I create this sort of relationship transition between black, these parts, and white.
Mm-hmm.
So what Pixel read with the white parts, the more white, the more it's bumped. So in this case, I want to have the bump of the tassels of the gold, and I very fastly create a sort of mask with, all the white parts will be bumped out, and all the black part will be bumped in. Mm-hmm. So in this case, I guess I did something like that. The normals are done in this way. The other ones, yes, the cavity is done all.
Cutting out.
Hmm.
And I convert it into the other maps.
It cut out for a while map. As soon as you started talking about the cavity map.
Cavity maps.
Oh, okay. I think I just take the normal map and convert it into cavity map, if I remember correctly. Metalness and roughness are just based on the albedo per se. The albedo Ds, for example, has its own layer. The gold, so I just mask the gold and then create this sort of black and white. The roughness is basically light that directly hits mouse back and something like that. I don't want to say something stupid, maybe, but it's the material. So the more white, the more is rough, so the more it will be matte. The more black, the more will be reflective. So in this case, I just paint a grunge map in order to have these to break the boringness and get these patches of reflectivity, very strong patches that were very matte. They can see here, like how much here, for example, see here is reflective compared to here that is quite matte. Mm-hmm. I didn't even want to go too much in depth of it because simply the space that the texture have in the whole environment is not the focal point, is not a primary point, is a ground. So I wanted to have it, interesting, something going on, or some interesting shapes going on, but I wouldn't go as far as the focal point per se, because that's not the focal point. So you end up having a lot of details in a place where it's not supposed to have the details. Also to have some resting area between a lot of contrast, resting area, contrast, let's say resting area with the smoke, contrast, resting area, and it's something that I try to keep doing that in my paintings, even if I know that they're always very heavy and very clunky, I guess. Mm-hmm. But I try to, and that's how the ground has been made. If you want, I can try to open the tram, because I have the tram block out. So I want to see if I'm able to open it so the guys at home can see how my blockouts look like. Yes. Don't worry, those are all my personal projects. So there is nothing compromising. No, this is like Prague overview was something that I was doing like sort of Prague overview again. Temple merge, this kind of stuff, Medusatron, those are all my personal projects. No, Titan Ghost is the Greek stick. Oh, there you go. Wow. That's blockout. Oh, it's so slow.
Oh, wow. So you built this in 3D Coat?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't do any
Use it a lot for work, just all the time.
Yeah, I use it primarily for yeah.
Wow.
It's software, 3D software that I am mostly comfortable for. And the thing of 3D code that I like it a lot is that you just don't sculpt per se, but you have also the paint room where you can do some sort of paint materials and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's actually very, very nice. Yeah, this is a tram. Yeah, the windows here were not, I didn't want to go photos on top of it to get, the reflectivity going on. So I left it very flat and very basic. But all the other elements, I tried to sculpt it as much as I could, like, the little things that spin on top of it. Sadly, all those kind of stuff that are not seen very well because of the angle and the big wheel that covers a lot. Mm-hmm. So in the end, sometimes you spend up a little bit too much time in the 3D zone, and you don't use it. And it's something that you need to learn. It's a process that you need to learn. You need to learn where to stop, and you need to learn where to push. So in that case, probably if I would go back, maybe I would do a little bit more, a couple of more details on the wheel, because it's very front and very big and very recognizable. Compared to maybe, could have been a little bit more simple here behind the wheel. But yeah, 3D code is very a new file. This is little cube. I don't know. I have no idea what it was. That's good, I guess. The thing that I like in 3D code is that. Oops. Hey. Oops. Oh, okay. Thank you. You don't even just sculpt per se. Let's just use cube and I like when sorry guys. There we go. My 3D coder sometimes has these 5 own minutes. I'm lazy today. Don't let me work. Great. Yeah. So it's quite fast to sculpt. It's quite comfortable for me because it's something that I haven't felt that way when I was using ZBrush. It's just a preference, nothing more than just a preference. I just do a very fast and super shit and rough box. Don't even think about design or anything. But yeah, if you have to do something fast, so this is sort of more than enough to get you initial proportion. Is it good? No, it's quite much of a horrible stuff that I did in 5 seconds. But if you spend a little bit more time, you can come up with something like it more defined. But the cool stuff is that you go into the paint room, and you have a lot of smart materials that are actually really good. If 3D code allows me to not embarrass everyone. It's slow. Yep, welcome to my world.
So,
hi guys, how's it
going?
Do
you use this computer for work?
Sorry, no. In Streamline, I do have my own computer that they have their own computer that I use. It's my workstation there. No, this is my at-home personal stuff.
Okay.
There we go. Finally, he did something. So the smart materials are basically 4 are those albedo, metalness, there is metalness, roughness, and or bumpness that are normal maps combined together. There are presets already in 3D code, like this is already a preset, or others that you can actually build by your own materials, and you just paint. And it has actually a very nice response of the material per se. So it's actually, I would say, accurate, kind of. Good enough to render. Yeah. So if I go into you can see the light and everything. It's okay, considering the fact that again, this is done in 4 seconds. I'm not even putting any sort of effort. Not because I don't want to. It's because I want to show, let's say, the method behind. So if you put a little bit more focus and stuff, you can come up with something that is actually pretty nice and and really good. Plus, the thing for me is that I can switch back to different kind of materials and just paint on top of them. Yeah, well, I won't let him calculate ambient occlusion this moment because otherwise there will be no chance that he will finish. But yeah, I can just, paint on top of it, paint where I want. It gives me more of the Photoshop kind of sensation in the 3D zone. So that's why I really like it. What is still so and so is that, for example, I have this and I want to export in Blender. How can I do it? So that's something that I have my workflow. I mean, I can show it, that's not a problem. But it's something that is a little bit more problematic yet. It's not that straightforward as, going to the render engine of 3D code. I render something that is based enough for me to paint on top of it, and then the rest is, painting, doing some photo bash or whatever is the project. If I have to, for example, put this guy here in Blender, I have to take this guy out, export it, import in ZBrush, decimate in ZBrush, going back into 3D code, import here into the pixel painting. There is this one out. Oops, I don't even know what's that. Re-import in 3D code, build the texture, export and import in Blender. So it seems complicated, it seems long, it's faster than you can think, but it still requires, some programs in between. Some, in between of ZBrush, in between of, again, 3D code, blah, blah. But what I like it a lot is that you just paint the texture. So you have a very Photoshop kind of approach on the final result. And the textures are very important because it gives the material and everything. And it's what the texture artists need, the 3D artists need, blah, blah, blah. So it's to give to the team a final result that have, all the tick in the end. It's something way, way better than just give something that is too rough and then no one can read it. Like, this ground is very rough. Oh, Siri. Sorry. This ground is very reflective, so it has a certain kind of material. So the material shader artist will have to create a specific material that have these properties, rather than, hey dude, what's that? And it's mostly like, our job to solve problems. Yeah. Other than, pretty picture. Yes, it's a pretty picture. Okay. But at least I try to solve some problems in order that if these things will be created, every person involved in the pipeline at least have an initial, let's say, idea what they will have to do. Because the Kremlin, the St. Peter's Basilica per se, yes, you can take a photo, but it is not one-on-one, and so on. So it needs to be defined enough to make people understand what's going on. Then they can always go to you and say, hey, yeah, I get it. And then you start to explain what was behind and explain what was deeper than that. But at least a sort of reading in the beginning is very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's really awesome how you can take something like that tram on the left, and you have a model, a really tight model to give a 3D artist. Yes. And
exactly. Yes.
Not only is it in your painting, but you also have the 3D deliverable that you can give them, and they can measure it and build a proper model for like a game, like an asset.
Yeah, and precisely. Yes.
Not only that, but in your painting, you also explain where the smoke comes out of, how the stuff moves.
Yes.
And that's really valuable. And that's just one tiny little corner of your painting. You have things like that all over the place. Like the statue with the steam coming out of the hands. Like that's a really interesting design element in my opinion.
Yeah. The columns, where they came from? It's when I was in Canada. that we were, for the people at home, we were talking about the fact that I was in the US last year for the first time in my life, pay a visit to my brother. So we went to Canada, and in Vancouver there is, let's see if I can find it somewhere. I guess I have my ref. Don't worry, the folder that I cannot open is somewhere else. So there is almost no chance that I can open that folder. Refs, basic refs. I have stuff that I can't show, but
Oh, I see Misty Lagoon. I love that photo pack.
oh yeah.
It's so great.
It's amazing. Yeah. Okay, this is London. No, US. There we go. Don't know if I can fastly search for it. These are all the photos that I did. Whatever. There was a clock in Vancouver, a very old clock. Apparently, it was a donation of someone. It's a donation of someone. It's unknown to the city. This clock basically every hour it ticks and has gears that are just straight from a steampunk environment.
That's so cool. So steam comes out of that.
And it has all of this smoke. And sadly, I couldn't. The photo doesn't represent it well. All this huge smoke that blows out from the clock.
Is that steam or smoke?
Steam. Steam.
Okay.
Steam. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there is some little dwarf here smoking every single hour. So I guess it's smoke. Steam. I guess. But.
That's a really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super cool. So, experience life design. You can always inject it in your design, your paintings. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Those stuff are coming directly from there. Yeah, it's more meaning. It's more maturity actually, because otherwise you just do weird shapes, but no one understands that.
Yeah,
so
I think
that's not actually the point of it.
I think taking things as a designer, stealing like an artist shows maturity as a designer. That's like you said, it's like taking something that you find that is real and reinventing it or turning it into a different way shows that you are a mature designer and you have the confidence to see something unique and apply it to your own design instead of just inventing everything on the spot. Like students a bunch of the time will be like, I'll just make everything like Fang's always going on about how you should not do this. And it's just making up everything from your head, like without looking at the real world. And it definitely shows maturity as a designer. Like, and I see that all over your, like, everything in your design is essentially real. You're just combining and looking at it in a new way. Like you're not the first person to invent a tram, and you're not the first person to invent that big wheel, but combining it in an interesting way makes a good design.
Thanks. Like I try to do my best. But I mean, the idea that you said is like see something that or makes some sense, or is iconic, or something that reminds or a universe or whatever.
Cutting out again.
Yeah.
The tram.
You cut out about 10 seconds ago.
Okay. Shit. And the funny thing is that I can hear you guys without any problem.
Yeah. Weird.
Okay, sorry.
No worries.
Sorry. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
No? Yes?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes. Awesome.
Can you, Burin?
Awesome.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
It's funny because I can hear you through all of the conversation without any at all. But at least you cut out. Okay.
Yeah, you're going to watch this video on YouTube in a week, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, so much cutting out. Like, my connection.
I don't want to hear my stupid voice. No.
That's how I feel. about myself.
It's very weird. No, I mean, yeah, it's very important because when you do actually, artists have to interpret your concept.
Yeah.
They can be tight or loose, whatever, but it's always an interpretation. So they have to figure what you wanted to do. If you give a concept, like for example this one, like say, okay, I don't just have the concept. I have, for you guys, I can provide you the 3D. They can see exactly which kind of, how wide it is, how high it is with perfection. So you give something that is way, way, way more value. And it's a good point, very good point, because in production you need to, cut down all of the uncertainties that a piece of art, because this is a 2D art that have to be transformed into a 3D art by the 3D artist. So all of the gray area, providing a block out, is extremely more beneficial, just providing the painting per se. And if you guys allow me, I want to also add something. At a house, especially, you need to be also very flexible to do every single kind of different kind of jobs. For example, one thing that they allow me to do is that the project that I'm currently working on right now, the cool thing is I can't talk about the project, but I can talk about the fact that I received a sort of very weird kind of task, because it was in between a concept and a 3D and gameplay sort of task per se. Because it's like I had to create from scratch the concept of the product that was involved in the gameplay. I had a meeting with a lead game designer that he told me, okay, the gameplay will be blah, 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 blah. So the player can do this, cannot do that, etc., etc. But in a real engine, I had to provide the environment per se. So the task was to create not only a concept in the beginning to show the idea, to create the assets, to import into the engine with their own texture, and with Unreal to create the workflow of the gameplay, just in a rough state, conceptual kind of state. But that was actually extremely hard, very challenged, beautiful task. I absolutely adore it. And it was something that let me realize, I can even push that far to not create a full-fledged concept of an environment with his own gameplay inside of it, and then every part of the production will go tight into straight every single kind of parts. But it was actually extremely interesting, because it was very 360 degrees kind of work. It was not just I am a concept artist, so I do a painting, or I'm a concept artist, I can do 3D, I can do just the block out that can be sent to the 3D artist. That was a very complex kind of task, and it was actually very, very nice. Something that was extremely unique, because it was deal with a different level of thinking. It was not just our concept art thinking of how make the world building, the environment works, or how makes the character, how it look like, which kind of clothes he wear. But it was also like, okay, think about how the final project is, how the final product is. What is the experience of the player? Which kind of gameplay the player will achieve? Which kind of mechanics the player will be able to achieve or do? So which kind of mechanics also affect the design, affect the art, affect the look of it? So it was actually extremely interesting to deal with all those kind of things combined together. And again, I checked with my producers, so they are fine to let me talk about this.
Great. Yeah. Can you turn your camera on?
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. That is the first podcast and I haven't did. So sorry, I'm
Yeah.
still confused about which button I have to open, which window I have to tick, and then the internet is a crap. So sorry, guys.
It's fine, man. Yeah, we're really glad to have you on. A lot of
My pleasure.
knowledge being spread in this hangout today.
Again, my complete pleasure, and if you guys want to have me again, I'm totally open for that, for everything you guys want, so totally fine with that.
Maybe we'll have you and Silva on sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I'm sure he'd love that. Yeah, we're gonna get your whole class
on. That would be amazing.
Yeah, Marco.
That would be amazing.
Marco's coming on
later
too.
Awesome. Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
I saw Marco and Silva 1.5 years ago, kind of, almost 2 years, when I was in industry workshop. I try to do one workshop per year because it's so useful, and I receive a lot of feedbacks. So that's allow me also to grow and to see the things that I have to improve.
Yeah.
And in London industry workshop, I saw again Silva and Marco. Was so nice to see them again.
Yeah.
Like in industry workshop, I saw in Trojan Horse, I saw Alexander Pavlenko, Lisa, Natasha. I met Sabrina and Manuel. It was so good to see everyone there. Yeah. Marco, I couldn't for 1 second. I couldn't recognize him because he had this huge beard that he hadn't grown that long during FZD. It was, me, Marco. Yes, hi.
All right. What else do we have? I think that's a lot of what we had planned. Thank you for your process, your walkthrough. My brother's been obsessed with 3D Coat lately, and I think I might jump on the train of that. And he actually downloaded another program, Moi 3D. He was using that a little bit, so I think he froze. He's
Matt.
Okay, there you are.
Okay. No, I think that 3D Code has the thing that is very like play with clay.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing for me. Like, it has sort of the same palette as so it has a lot of similarities between Photoshop and the 3D programmers.
Yeah. Froze again.
I don't think that you can do as in depth in 3D Code as the same that you go in ZBrush. But I think that you have to think of the mentality of the people that create 3D code. They want to give something that you can give fast results. Not spending too much into getting into the 3D kind of world, but have at least something that is. That's why I like that program.
It's very fast.
ZBrush is very fast. Yes,
and
yes.
You
there are a couple of.
You almost can't break your model, I guess.
Exactly. Yes.
Like
yes.
With poly modeling, it's easy to get like really bad geometry to the point where it's horribly disgusting model. But I guess in 3D Coat, it just works a little bit differently. Like you can't break it. I don't know how to explain it, but like you can't really break it. You can.
Yeah, it's true. Sometimes when I was using ZBrush in FCD, there was the model that was like completed to scrap it off and then start a new one.
Yeah, it's the same.
For some technical reason, I had no idea why. Rather than in 3D Coat, almost doesn't occur to me at all that I had to. Boom, I can't use it. Because maybe that the model is too big, so I have to decimate it. Yeah. Maybe it's too slow. Yeah, sure. It builds up polygons super fast compared to 3D Coat or Blender. Blender, it's super light. A huge landscape city, you can do it that 1 second, it's super light.
Yeah.
That you can't very much in 3D Coat. Blender has amazing, specific Blender 2.8 has amazing lights. The volume scatter is like, you have these
amazing.
gold rays. That even just a goddamn cube, it looks like awesome. You're like, oh, I made it, and it's just a cube with a light and gold rays behind.
Yeah,
it's just so epic.
Yeah, and you can have like your local light sources, and it's so awesome.
Yeah,
3D is
awesome.
3D is just amazing, and it's just getting more powerful all the time. Like anybody who doesn't know 3D right now, I would say start learning as soon as possible, because it is going to, if not already, it's going to dominate, especially with VR once they get that figured out. Like imagine an intuitive 3D coat in VR. Like, you know, you take your stuff, you pull it, you push it, you cut things. Like, you know, you can measure. The thing that VR doesn't have right now is you can't, like, measure and be accurate, you know? Like, you pull something and your hand's, like, shaking, and it's like you're trying to line something up. Once they get that figured out, like, maybe they need, like, a new controller or something for VR. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
They need, like...
Maybe...
Yeah?
No, please. No, go, please.
Oh.
Stupid damn thing you doing.
No. I was gonna say they need like some way to like integrate like the benefits of a mouse and keyboard with the benefits of like 3-dimensional sculpting with your hands. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe some gloves that you can also have some sort of interaction. Like if you squish your model, your 3D model, you even feel the resistance of it.
Yeah.
Maybe they can have, but that's like sci-fi.
Yeah. So Jared asked,
future, who knows?
But the thing is, which 3D? I would say any 3D, man. Like, you know, learn polymodeling.
Agree.
Because that is like essential, which is almost any 3D program. You know, ZBrush has polymodeling in it with what is that? There's a polymodeling within ZBrush. I don't remember what it's called. Blender is polymodeling, you know, Maya, Modo, everything is polymodeling. The except 3D Code is not, and like sculpting in ZBrush is not for the most part. But like, just like if you don't know what 3D program to start using, just start on one. Like start on Blender, it's free. Like there you go.
Agree. Yes, in fact.
Yeah, because once you know polymodeling, you can transfer to, like, if you're really good at Blender and you know how to model in that, you could learn Modo. You just have to learn the technicalities because it's the same concepts, you know, edge loops and Booleans and all this, or, you know, Maya and what are other, you know, different things. There's a couple different kinds of 3D. You know, there's like what voxels, which is what 3D Code is. There's I think Moi 3D is what's that called, Buren? It's a different
Moi
kind of
3D.
Yeah, it's
Are we listing all the
just different kinds of 3D?
New, easy to use 3D. Oh well, starting from classics, we have 3ds Max, Maya. XSI went obsolete. 3D Code.
Well, I was saying
Blender.
the different kinds. Like, what is there other than polymodeling? You know, there's 3D Coat, which is like voxels, I think, and then there's some other programs that are they use like a different mathematical way to calculate the 3D, but most of them are the same, I would say. And just start with Blender. Completely free, incredibly lightweight. You can run it on a MacBook.
Yeah. And the resources are plenty now.
Oh, yeah.
My God. 10 years ago, we would have a really hard time finding a decent tutorial. You know?
Yeah, totally agree. Absolutely.
And now also, it's everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, just like a Blender guru.
Yeah. For example, in Streamline here, I use 3D Code because I like it. My flatmate, Jason, that he worked with me, he used ZBrush. Is that a correct answer? No. It's simply I like 3D Code more because it's my own way of approaching 3D, and the program has that kind of approach. Jason used more ZBrush.
Yep.
Because he liked more that kind of approach. So in the end, for everyone that want to start 3D, try a different and see which one actually clicks for you. Because in the end of the day, more or less, every 3D program does almost everything. Yeah, some does one thing, some other does another thing. Like Blender has beautiful lights, so you can render there, and it's free. So I would start with that. 3D Coat has nice sculpting thingy. ZBrush is very, very tight. So in the end of the day, everything will be, there is no right or wrong. Yeah. You can use one program that is good and you can use it and you master it to a certain level that you're totally fine with that. You don't even have to use another one.
You can always mix it. For example, when I'm doing
yes.
do it on ZBrush, and then when I need to design sets like table and room, whatever, I do them in 3ds Max, for example, right? And I'll just put them together in, I don't know, like Keyshot or Blender rendering. You can you can just, sometimes let's say, I don't know, one program sucks at organic sculpting, but the other one is really good at it. So if you have to, then you can totally, I only use ZBrush for the organic stuff, but I use the 3ds Max for hard surface things,
Yeah.
You can totally juggle between different software. There's no right answer.
Yeah.
It's all about how you feel comfortable about it.
No right, no wrong, Zue.
No right, no wrong.
Yeah.
I think there is one wrong, and that's to stop learning. If you stop learning, you're doing something wrong. So just do everything. Watch videos, watch tutorials, follow them closely. Even if you don't stick with something, you still have that experience under your belt when someone says, hey, well, what about, let's say you hate 3D Coat, and your buddy says like, oh, I want to try 3D Coat. You're like, oh, I tried it. It works like this. It didn't work for me, but it may work for you. If you never even tried it, you'd have nothing to say. Yeah, analysis paralysis, someone says.
Oh, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yes. Yes, and there is no correct way of, you have to use just that program, that's it. You have to just use Blender. Boom. All the rest is nothing.
Yeah.
No, you can actually take parts from here, take parts from there, collage everything. Who cares? It's not a problem of how you reach the end. Is that the main focus is solve the problems and deliver the problem solved.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're just making
then how you do it, it's up to you.
Yeah. All you're trying to do is make it easier for the guy who gets the files from you. If they want you, if they prefer you to build it in 3D, like, if you make it super clear, if you give them whatever, your 3D files, if it's messy, if it's clean, if just, like different people work different ways, but you're doing something right if the people down the line are happy.
Yes.
Concept artist means being a person that thinks for others.
Yeah.
Right?
And making it very easy for them to interpret what you're thinking about.
Yes. I also think that you have also to inspire others with your art. Because look, when I was in some projects here, when I finished the concept, and then I had the texture artist that came to me and say, hey, I know what you want to go with this material here. What do you think? Blah, blah, blah. And we start to open a dialogue. Oh, that's so cool. So it's more like try to inspire other people in the work chain. That also they are inspired by your work and want to do a good job. So every single time the texture artists were coming to my city, oh, let's talk about this, let's talk about that. It was always an exchange of information that makes the work better. That makes the art, the final art, something that maybe stand out. Sure, the metal is always metal, but let's talk about how can we improve that part. So it's actually very interesting how you are a concept artist. You are in the beginning because you work in pre-production. You actually are able to inspire a lot of people doing the production of the project per se.
Yeah. I mean, that's even the goal of ArtQuest too. We're trying to inspire. Oh, I think you froze.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Something new, huh?
I thought you were done talking, but you actually just froze.
No, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
wave
sorry.
your hands. Wave your hands just to make sure that.
Okay.
Oh, he froze himself by waving his hand.
Oh yeah, I think so.
No.
Oh, damn it.
That's horrible. His computer couldn't keep up with his hand waving, so it made him lag.
So it froze itself.
Yeah, he'll be back in a second. There he is.
Okay. Hi guys.
Yeah. This is a pretty good episode of ArtQuest. We got a lot of juicy concept art talk and analysis going, and some inspiring content, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's my pleasure, honestly, to be able to share with you guys and everything that want to listen to what my experience has been through. And I don't know, I've been, as a concept artist per se, in the industry, I started in the indie game. I did a little bit of freelancing for a movie director that was actually very good. It was a very interesting kind of experience. I liked it a lot. But I'm not a freelance kind of guy per se. I'm a more in-house kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And then I came here in Streamline for AAA kind of stuff. So I had the spread of the indie AAA and movies and freelance and in-house in 4 years and a half. A little bit of experience of everything. I totally believe that everyone has to search their own way of, because there is pro and against in everything, in being freelancer, in being in-house, in doing indie, in doing AAA, in doing movie, whatever. But everyone that wants to start this journey has to understand that, feel comfortable to understand who you are. If you are an in-house kind of guy, like I am an in-house kind of a guy, I would be terrible to be a freelance kind of guy. It wouldn't work for me to be just a freelancer. Mm-hmm. I do respect people like you, Colton, that you're a freelancer. Totally fine. Yeah, it's a different kind of journey for everyone, and there is not right or wrong. It's simply understand which kind of path you want to go.
Yeah, I guess
I like in-house, but it's my personal choice.
Yeah, I guess I kind of fell into freelance because my mentor did really likes freelance, and he kind of was always like, oh, because he helped me get hooked up with some freelance jobs, and then I just fell into it. And also my dad is actually a career freelancer and has just always done that. So working from home or starting businesses and stuff like that. So I guess I just fell into it kind of by default. I've been thinking about looking into studios, but for right now and probably the next couple of years, I think I'm still gonna stay freelance. I was kind of inspired by Fang because he was just like freelance all the way.
Sure, yes. I mean, he is Fang, so
I love
one of the legends of the concept art.
Oh yeah, I absolutely love the the idea, the camaraderie going on at studios, and
Yeah. It also, for example, it helps quite much also for me to learn new programs.
Yeah.
Blender now, 3D Code back then. Instead of being just alone by myself, that would be harder. With colleagues, more like, oh shit, I can't do that. Do you know how to solve this problem? Oh yeah, I think so. And this sort of creative vibe, at least for me, helps me quite much on, growing day by day. Because freelance is good because you are your own boss, so you decide. But at the same time, I like the confrontation with people in order to have, the artistic talk that allows you to grow. The be in the same place altogether. That probably is the same reason that why back then I choose to go into FCD. Compared to keep going on online courses.
Yeah.
And again, it's just personal. For some people, it works in one way. For other people, it works in another way.
Yeah, man, it's 2 a.m. here.
Shit.
No, I planned for this, so I slept until almost
Okay.
1.
Okay.
Someone asked someone asked about
Yeah.
weekly challenges. We've been having weekly challenges in Art Quest
Mm-hmm.
this week. It went really well. A lot of people put up their work. I think
Awesome.
we didn't get to critiquing them right now. I think we may critique them either on our next live without a guest, or maybe throughout this week. We've already talked a little bit about some people's work, so we'll announce that soon. I will announce it after the stream, maybe tomorrow for the US, which is Sunday for us. So keep what's the word? Keep stay tuned for that. That's not really related to Mauro or the guest or anything, so I'll keep that brief. But people are interested in weekly challenges and stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I guess that's, for the most part, that's almost everything we had planned. I'm looking through the sheet.
Yeah, we didn't even have to ask a lot of questions, man. You carried us. That was awesome.
Us. We are eternally grateful.
Yeah.
Sorry, I guess froze a bit.
Oh, now I can't hear us.
Oh man, no.
Can you hear us?
No. I said we didn't have to. It was so awesome to have you because we didn't have to ask you a lot of questions. You just you just carried the whole episut.
Yeah, for everybody who's
I'm sorry, I like to talk a lot and blah 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 blah.
No. It wasn't. It wasn't talking a lot. It was like bow down to.
Oh, no. I'm no one, guys. I'm no one. But thanks. No, really. I feel like I'm very kind of average, I guess. So the stuff that I do is like, there's plenty of tutorials out there from, amazing guys like Jama, John J. Park, Fang. They're doing such amazing things that I'm like, okay.
I feel like
my own 3D count.
I feel like
so, but thanks so much.
Bridge the gap between that. You're a professional and you're working and you do this for a living, and you are the standard that a lot of people are trying to get to. Like a student and Fang, there's such a huge gap between it. Where's the in between of someone who's a working and a professional? It's so nice to have you on here, because I think a lot of people are like, wow, here's a normal dude who's a concept artist, what I want to be.
That's part of again, my pleasure to be part here to share what I can share.
We'd love having you on, and that's actually part of the reason that I like the Level Up channel so much, is because a lot of the time they just had normal guys on. Like one of the guests that was on the Level Up channel, I bumped into him at Brainstorm, and he's teaching there, and he's just like a casual guy. And like I remember when you visited my grad show at FZD, it's just so easy to talk to you, So I'm just like, let's have you on.
I'm again, to me, it was one of the best things that happened. So
that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, if you guys want me to have another time in any format that you guys want, I'm totally open for that. Totally open for paint over, feedback, whatever.
Awesome.
For the community. Totally fine with that.
Yeah, I usually say this to my guests, but I'm a little bit hesitant to, because I know that some guests,
I understand.
I know that some guests get very uncomfortable critiquing work from the community, because they may be like, I don't want to be mean, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, So we definitely love to have you back and have you critique some work, because there's a lot of people. We have a whole community, a Discord where people post work and get feedback and stuff. So we love the guests to be able to come on and critique and give feedback to the work. So So yeah, but just for right now, we like having the guests on to be able to talk about their workflow. You know, like your workflow, I think is incredibly valuable. You showed 3D Coat and
Thanks.
how you work and how you apply your materials and
how you think, how you make references and everything.
Oh yeah, it's so valuable for people who are aspiring and wanting to get professional work, because now they can go and create reference boards. They can go download 3D Coat and be like, they can watch this video over and over because we're going to upload it on YouTube, and it's going to become a resource. So
Absolutely.
you know, it's we're so grateful to have you on.
Again, the pleasure is all mine, really, for real. To be able to share what I came up until right now in this moment of my life is something that I am really grateful. I mean, I'm 39, I'll be 40 this year, so it's more like it's a very moment where it's beautiful because I'm not 20 years old anymore, where you know kind of see the future, but you have no real idea what will going on, especially maybe back then because I was doing university, so it wasn't the choice that I would have done. So now it's more like I take cautions of who I am. Like I can see that I did the right path, the right steps in my journey.
Yeah.
So that's something that gives me, sure, I can have anxieties and stuff because the future is always have an uncertainty kind of moment. So you cannot predict it. You cannot see who you will be in 20 years, 30 years. Maybe I die tomorrow. Who knows? Yeah. Hopefully not. Finger crossed.
I hope not.
Well, I'm not hoping for that either. But I mean,
but if you did, no.
There is still this interview, so there is people can remember me. Guys in the next life. No, it's more like I can feel in my guts, I can feel in my soul, in myself, that it's a very good path, and that is I'm in the right path of my life.
Yeah,
and give me some more of in depth of what will be the next, let's say, 40 years for me, without the uncertainty of when I was 20. Maybe I will work, I will do something. So it's more focused. Yeah, I envy and I would like to have the energy when I was 18. If I go party and I get super drunk in the evening, the next day at 8 a.m. Okay, guys, what's going on?
Yeah, just like going out and partying and coming back.
Now I like a damn song.
Look at that face.
No, I can't. Yeah.
Look at that face.
Yeah, man.
I'm frozen out.
That was something I was hiding from the public. You just exposed it. Now everybody's gonna think wrong about me.
Someone asked how long have you worked at Streamline?
It's okay. October 2015, so it's 3 years and a half.
Okay. 3.5 years.
3.5.
That's a pretty good time.
3.5. Yes, because it's 4 years and a half that I'm in the industry roughly, so it's 3.5 years. Yeah, it's been pretty nice journey. Actually, it's very nice. It's quite nice, and I have the possibility to have a very good balance work and life put together here in Streamline. So there isn't very much of the culture of hardcore OT and stuff. No, they are very chill out for that, and that's a very, very good thing.
Yeah,
because it allows to help you to be healthy and go on with a healthy kind of life. And also, I can, let's say, after work, I can keep on working on. So that's a good thing. In order to you keep growing, without have to sleep 3 hours, and then that's your life for the next 8 months.
FZD.
But I would say in FTD was mostly because we were students. We were we were learning. You have a different kind of pressure when you learn and you're in a school, even if FCT was very intense, compared to when you work.
Yeah.
When you work, in FCT, if there is a week that you failed a paint, you really fucked up a painting completely.
Yeah.
The worst is like thanking someone. So I will say, no, look, you did these mistakes. Here is wrong. Here you have to correct. Go on. Yeah. If you fucked up a painting in a company or in a production pipeline, or if you're a freelancer, if you're in-house, whatever, it's work. So the stress is way different.
Yeah.
Compared to when you are in school.
Yeah.
So here I really have to be grateful that I have a very balanced life. So that's for me a huge plus, and I value that a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And you don't want a studio to be crazy stressful, because it's life, School is one thing, but the rest of your life is another thing. You commit to FZD knowing that the next year you're going to be working to death. So afterwards you don't have to work to death, but still do what you love doing. And
yes.
And like, for example, in like the work environment, if you really mess up a painting, and now I don't know how this works for you guys in a studio, but for example, I'd basically just be like, you know what, I really messed up this painting. It turned out horrible. Either they tell me to redo it, or I give them an extra version and just be like, the first one failed, so here's another painting. Like, that's a bit better.
Here it can happen. Okay, if you fucked up a painting, you can have some feedback, of course, from leads and our director. Yeah. If they see that you are struggling, they give the painting to someone else.
Yeah.
Simply because it's a work. It's work that the client, or whichever the client can be also internal things. But it's something that you need to be done. So it needs to be done with a certain degree. So you need to have certain abilities to pull off the work. If you can't, for any single reason, maybe you get sick that day, and then you don't feel that well. You get a very strong cold, so your painting is not up to point. The painting must be finished. That's it. You can maybe have a help, or if they see that you really struggle. They can say, okay, you stop, you continue, you will go to something else. Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't happen that often.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It doesn't happen that often, because our strength usually matches with the project we are on. So it's not completely out of the
like they don't assign you something you can't do very often. For me, if I get on a project, they're like, I got hired to work on like character skins and stuff, and I'm not very strong at character skins. I said, okay, you can put me on this, but it's not my strong point. And they're like, we're okay with that. We got a good art director who can help you.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm like, great.
Awesome.
I usually get hired on like props and stuff, but every once in a while I'll get put on something that I'm not very good at, and they'll say, well, we understand that and we'll let you try it out, like, or we really need someone to work on this, and you were on hand. So and a lot of the time you want to get clients who understand you well, and that's part of the reason I like working with the client with who I work with most of the time, because they're super chill, they're really nice. I was talking to Silva about it on the last stream. Me and him both work with Volta all the time, and they're so nice to work with. They're very considerate.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And
that plays a huge part, actually.
Yeah. So
because no matter the project can be super awesome, the project you wait for your whole entire life.
Yeah.
But if it's the client that has given so many problems, it's not that specific project will be your saving anchor of the experience per se. You can turn something in pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. We've been going for over 3 hours, I think.
Well, I mean, for me, it was so awesome that
I had a lot of fun.
Super happy. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So can't wait till we have you again next time and see what you've been cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, yes.
Literally,
yes,
show us your plate of food and be like, I love to cook.
Yeah. That cooking.
Okay, sorry. One thing, because I started. Okay, to do the perfect carbonara, you will have just egg yolk.
It's starting to cut out.
It's fine.
Perfect carbonara. What?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. 1 egg yolk per person plus 2. So if you are 3 people, 5 egg yolks. A lot of Parmesan cheese. If you want to go very traditional, pecorino cheese. You grate it, you incorporate it into the egg yolks, into sort of paste. It needs to be a very thick paste, like almost clay-like consistency, super thick. Then you take the guanciale. Try to find guanciale, because guanciale is next level of bacon. You can have pancetta, but if you get guanciale, is pork cheek, cured pork cheek. It's completely different flavor. It's amazing. Then you sweat it a little bit without any olive oil. Then you put the pasta into the boiling water. Halfway cooked through, you take let's say a couple of cups of pasta water, not that much, just a little bit. Then you incorporate into the mix of pecorino and egg yolk, so it loosens a little bit. And then in the end, you combine everything together. Wow. It's amazing, perfect, with a lot of black pepper. But please use guanciale. Guanciale is unbelievably good if you can find it.
Perfect.
That's perfect carbonara.
That's awesome. I'll have to make some of that sometime.
No peas, mushrooms, or nothing of anything kind of bizarre like that. No, it doesn't have anything like that.
Everybody's going crazy in the chat room.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi guys in the chat room.
With the cooking thing. But I guess we saved the best for the last.
Yeah. Man, I've been watching Gordon Ramsay Kitchen Nightmares lately. It's so good.
Awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
I even ordered his.
He's very.
Yeah.
He's very. I think he cares a lot. You can see that he's a guy that cares a lot of cooking.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, he's a showman. Also, yes, he's a businessman, he's a showman. Fine, but if you reach that level because he has a lot of restaurants with Michelin stars, and you don't get Michelin stars
every
for
city.
nothing.
He has critically acclaimed restaurants in like every city. Yeah. I just ordered his autobiography. It's called Humble Pie. It's gonna get here in a week or so. I cannot wait to read it because he's from he's actually from a really tough background. I guess his dad was like an alcoholic and violent, and he even said that he stumbled upon cooking as like by an absolute like accident or something, and. I just think it's a really cool story. I love reading. Like you even said earlier, maybe you were talking about reading like fiction and novels and stuff and like historical stuff. But I think even just reading stuff that interests you, you want your voice as an artist to be your own voice, which means all your own interests. Yes.
Yes.
Like I've just been reading a lot over the past, and I like reading autobiographies. I got really into Arnold Schwarzenegger's autobiography. I was reading one of Richard Branson, who owns Virgin Airlines and all that.
Okay.
You start to see that a bunch of these people out there they just go for it. They're like, I thought about doing this, so I did it.
Yeah.
And then you're just
but
like...
But they are consistent also.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, here I am, afraid to make a mark on my paper. like, what am I doing? And then you just start painting.
Yeah. True. Yes. Agree. Completely agree.
So, yeah. Anyways, before I start talking about autobiographies and real estate, I should probably wrap it up because I could go on for hours about it. So.
Sure. Yes. Awesome. Thanks again.
Someone says thanks so much.
Yeah, this video will be up in like maybe 3 hours. That's the longest it would take to process it. And we can start sharing to the international audience. And you can, you can definitely put it on.
Face. Hi, guys.
You know what? We should make a little, what do you call it, emoji out of you?
Yeah, also, yeah. Just go for it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I got Rage Burin from a stream, so I can show that again because I just love it. I love this thing. This thing right here.
Yes. I love the lens flare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that. Save the lens flare. Oh.
Yeah, Kingston.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's it. I think it's winding down. We're kind of running out of things to talk about a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, Dina.
Thanks.
She joined the chat.
Oh, Dina.
Yep. Not too bad, Kingston. People are posting Kingston quotes in the chat. We've got like okay, pretty okay, not too bad.
No, there is no spend more time.
Spend more time. I saw that earlier.
Yeah. Okay.
Not too bad. Spend more time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but we are just wrapping up. So. Thank you again for coming. It's been over 3 hours. This is our longest stream yet.
Yeah.
We always hit just under 3 hours. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually do 2.5 to 3 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's about enough time to talk about all the important stuff, I guess. Yeah. So thank you for accepting our invitation, man. It was great.
Okay, Dina's been lurking with
my pleasure.
Yeah, and if you want, you can join Discord and check out from time to time. And if you want to critique or do anything, you can definitely join our subthreads and answer questions what we're interested in.
No, that's absolutely. You guys need to let me understand how to do that because again, technology.
You rub two stones together to make a spark, and the fire will make itself. So.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I'll go ahead and send you the YouTube video. Phil says thanks, by the way. I will go ahead and send you the YouTube video after it's up. I'll probably get it to you tomorrow for me because I'll go to bed in a little while, and it takes a couple hours to process. And then we'll put your thumbnail image on it. Beautiful image. It was so easy to use your image to make an awesome clickbait thumbnail. Really? Yeah.
Awesome. I'm happy.
So, yeah.
No.
Yeah. Is that it? Oh. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. Fair enough. No. Totally cool.
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And I hope that you learned a lot. And be sure to, I guess, join the Discord because daily we're active in there. And just chatting. We've got assignments. We're gonna announce the next one soon. We're gonna go over the results of this one, and we're going to start doing our monthly challenges, and we're gonna have guests on to critique the challenge stuff. I don't think we'll have guests critique the challenge or the assignment work every week, because it's just a lot of work, and we want to give the guests their time to talk about what they have ready to present, you know. But for challenges, I would really like if people spend a whole month on their artwork, I would definitely like to have a guest on to be able to critique it. So yeah, thank you again, Mauro, and thank you everybody for coming to see the stream, and I will we'll see you again next week. All right.
Yeah.
Say bye. See you, Buren.
Take care.
That's awesome.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye. See ya.
All right. See you guys.